Hello, and welcome to the Midgardia RPG Extra Life day of, well, I guess weekend of gaming. I am Sam Dillon, and I will be your GM for this session, which is a Call of Cthulhu scenario, and it is called Too Close to Home. And in this scenario, the players are playing teenagers in a small town in 1985. And so the first question I have for the two of you is, well, first, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I guess I'll go first. I'm Pi. I am one of the regulars on Midgardia, and I'm not sure what I'm going to be playing, but I'm sure I'm going to break something.
It's called Cthulhu, probably just your mind.
Right.
Not wrong.
And I am known on the interwebs as Cellador 10 or Jane. And this is my first time over here in Midgardia. I'd heard of it a couple times, but I'm excited to be on here, a whole new group of people. So that's great.
Excellent. Excellent.
And I have never played Cthulhu before. I've played Delta Green, which is very similar,
Okay.
but I've never played Cthulhu.
Okay.
I've never played Cthulhu. Never heard of the other one you just said.
Okay. Okay. So I do also want to mention that I did not write this scenario. This scenario is called Too Close to Home, and it is by one Benjamin Schaefer, and I found it for free on the Call of Cthulhu Miskatonic repository, which is a set of fan-made resources and materials that you can use, and you can link there from chaosium.com, Chaosium being the publisher of Call of Cthulhu. So, just as a quick overview, these two players have not yet selected characters. I provided 4 pre-generated characters as a choice. And so, to help you in selecting the characters, I will talk about how the system works just very, very briefly, and what the numbers up at the top of the screen, at the top right-hand side, the characteristics that we use. So in Call of Cthulhu, we're playing a D100 system. So the majority of dice rolls that we make are going to be 2 10-sided dice to generate a number between 1 and 100. And basically, these characteristics up here affect the different skills that you have and the different natural abilities that you have. So the characteristics are relatively basic. They are strength, which is, of course, basically your physical prowess and things like that. The right next to it is dexterity, just in typical fashion. That is your physical agility. The one next to it is a little bit different. It's power, POW, and that is actually a combination of your force of will, your spirit, and your mental stability. Con is constitution, which is a measure of health and well-being. App is appearance, another slightly different one. It literally measures the physical appeal of your character just on sight. EDU is education, which is your education level, so how well you learn and remember things. SIZ is size, and let's see, what does it say? Size is combined height and weight, so that number gives you not just pure stature, but just sort of the size of the person. So 50 would be sort of generic, standard, average height and weight for that person in as a human of that gender. And then int, of course, is intelligence, your cunning and your ability to make connections, your intuition, and move rate is based on size and dexterity. Below that is this list of investigator skills, and these investigator skills have percentages next to them that tell you what the starting percentage is, and then the box next to that is the actual rating that your character will have. So, for example, the character I am looking at right now is the Brainy Misfit, who has an archaeology rating of 40% and an accounting rating of 5%. Now on Roll20, we're going to use the green die. So if you press the green die, it rolls that ability. It rolls a D100 for that ability and puts it into the roll window. And so those are the basics. There's not a lot more to say in terms of this one shot. There are hit points that tell you sort of your overall state of health. Your sanity is it looks like there's 3 boxes there. The middle box is your current sanity, and the 99 is your maximum. Um, and luck, sometimes luck comes into play, and I might ask for a luck roll. And magic points won't be used in this scenario because none of you have been exposed to the Cthulhu mythos so far. And those are the basics. So if you also, when you're looking at these characters, scroll down, I added a little bit of ideology and beliefs and some information about significant people in these characters' lives. And so if you have an idea of maybe if you want to look at those for a minute, and if you have an idea of what kind of character you would like to play, we can talk about that and you can choose those, and then I will assign them to you specifically on Roll20.
I had thought either one of the sort of really smart ones, either the brainy misfit or the smart and curious. I'm kind of drawn to the brainy misfit because they have the lowest sanity of anybody.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'm probably leaning against charming and excitable because I just find them more difficult to roleplay. So I guess in terms of what would we know, like, did something weird happen in this town? That's why we're going into this scenario, or
So what happened is you have, well, it sort of depends on the character because one of the characters is the child of the sheriff.
okay,
And basically what happened is if that is the character you pick, the child of the sheriff, you'll already know this information. But the way that it sort of filters out to the other characters is you're all teenagers in town and it's summertime and it's really boring. It's the middle of the 80s and there's nothing going on. You're in really tiny suburb town USA. But last night at Roselawn is the name of the town. At Roselawn Bowl, the sheriff had a little bit too much to drink there in the bar that's in the bowling alley, and he started talking to some people about the funeral home director, whose name is Mr. Dawson. And he was sort of making fun of Mr. Dawson. He was drunk and he was sort of making fun of Mr. Dawson. And basically what he said is, "Oh, he's acting really strange." And he started spouting these weird theories. And then now, I told him to calm down and to just do his job. And now he won't even return my calls. And um, then he mentions at some point that one of what the thing that they were talking about, the reason he had to tell Mr. Dawson, to do his job, is that they had found the body of Henry Burroughs, a sort of local recluse character. They had found his body in the forest out behind his house. And the sheriff had taken it to the funeral home and asked Mr. Dawson to take care of the body. And Mr. Dawson started acting weird, and now Mr. Dawson won't even return the sheriff's calls because he's mad at him, and the sheriff is at the bar last night, drunk, and telling lots of obviously exaggerated tales about Mr. Dawson and how he ought to just be doing his job, and him and the sheriff and Mr. Dawson go way back, but of course, he's very eccentric and this and that, and basically blaming the funeral home director for not doing his job.
okay.
So a
So
couple of
reading
things going on. They found a body, and the sheriff is talking about odd behavior.
okay. I'm probably leaning towards the smart and curious.
Okay.
Should we be too like brainy nerds?
Yeah, we'll just not get into fights. I know that won't happen.
Is that a problem in term, like, is balance a major consideration for this system, or
Not at all. Well,
Does
I
it
mean,
mean we're going to die in 30 minutes rather than like 40?
No, so I made these characters, these pre-gens, to be capable in this scenario. If you let me put it this way, it's not necessary for you to get into a brawl. So if you're worried about one of you not having any kind of fighting skill, that's fine. That in Call of Cthulhu, so Call of Cthulhu is often run in one of two ways. It's either run in what they call classic or traditional Call of Cthulhu, where it's about dealing with strange phenomena and trying to not go insane while doing it, and uncovering odd things. And it's very dangerous, and you don't often get into combat because combat can be very damaging.
Okay.
Healing is very, very slow, and getting a gunshot wound, it probably means you're dead, that kind of thing. So you don't get into a gunfight because one bullet will kill you. It's closer to real life in that respect than something like a
Okay.
Dungeons and Dragons, where you're going to be expected to fight, 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 and never really take damage in a detrimental way. You won't have wounds and things like that. In Call of Cthulhu, any sort of uh, even a bar brawl, if a knife comes out during a bar brawl, someone's going to get really, really injured.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
I noticed even the sporting and daring character only had like what 12 health.
right. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
if that's
Um,
like the toughest one, we're still screwed if we get into a fight. I got you.
exactly. And there's another way to play Call of Cthulhu in what's called the pulp version of Call of Cthulhu, and that is a very sort of high action, uh, very cinematic. You get into fights, you're dodging bullets, things like that, and the people there are very active and almost super heroic in their abilities to, you know, dodge Nazi
Okay.
bullets and things like that. That's not how we're playing. We're playing a sort of more traditional, standard Call of Cthulhu. It's about creepy horror. It's about you not knowing what's going on and trying to find out.
Okay.
And you're also 15. All the characters are 15. So if you get really, really in trouble, you might just go to the sheriff. you know, you're
Yeah.
not
All
going to pull
right.
out a gun yourself.
I like the idea of us being like two nerdy kids who were like, we can figure out what the problem is. Like,
Yeah. Like
you
there's
know what I
obviously
mean?
something.
Like, and
And
I'm the brainy misfit. You might be like my only good friend at school, you know?
and if I explain all of this weird stuff to somebody else, they're like, "School's
Right.
out, dude. Give it up."
And if I remember correctly, Smart and Curious is into like the biology side of science, and mine's really into like physics and astronomy, and math.
Yeah,
Um,
on the ideology, I've got science will save us, and that you have to experiment to find out.
yeah.
And in terms of like stuff I know, I've got biology and botany.
All
Okay,
right. We're
so
nerdy
Pi.
besties.
Okay, so Pi, I will assign uh Smart and Curious to you.
Sweet. Do you need me to throw together a token?
It's not necessary. There's not really
Okie dokie.
really we're here just for the I do have a map to show you, and like I can show you a map of the town and whatnot, but there's not really, like, we don't need like 5-foot squares or anything like that. So there's really no it's not necessary for a token. Okay, so I just put Smart and Curious into Pi's file. That means it should disappear from Cellar
Yes.
Door, aka Jane. So
Mhm.
Jane, which one are you going to be then?
I'm gonna do the brainy misfit.
Okay, so let me put that where you are.
And then Pi, have you thought about what gender you are going to play your character?
I'm boring. I just default to male because I've
Okay.
played males in like every game I've ever played.
I will play a girl then.
Alrighty.
Fun. Yeah.
Okay, so I will remove Charming and Excitable from your journals. That way you don't get mixed up. And so you can actually change the names now because you have the ability to edit that, supposedly.
find out. Woo. And what was the power stat again?
Power is a combination of your force of will, your spirit, and your overall mental stability.
Okay.
So, okay. So, all right. So I have Howard is Mr. Science will save us. Okay. And Jane, your character's name is Sabine. Switch that.
Yes.
Nice.
There we go. Okay.
If you want to change your name in the bottom row, Jane,
Oh,
you
sure.
go to the cog in the upper
Oh, no,
right.
I know how to do it. I'll change it.
Okay. I don't remember if you had Roll20 before, but then I'm like, wait, how'd you
Oh,
been in
yes.
30 games if she done?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Probably
A
more
lot of
Roll20 than I have.
experience
Yeah.
arguing with Roll20 as a DM of D&D.
I found that I never win those arguments.
No one
You
does.
just have to find ways around them, usually. There's usually stuff you can figure out.
Usually.
Yep. Okay, so it is the summertime, and the two of you have just heard through the grapevine, probably from a friend, what transpired down at Roselawn Bowl last night. Apparently, Sheriff Oakley was a little bit sauced and was spouting some interesting things.
Quick question. I have a
Yes.
note about Uncle Joe being my dad's friend.
Mhm.
Which character is that? Is it one of the folks that we've heard about?
No, that's just someone.
A separate person.
Who,
Okay.
right? That's just someone in your life who
Got it. It's
you
not
can
one of the
call
people in
on
the scenario.
if
Cool.
if mom and dad aren't available, you can call on them.
Got it.
So it is about 11 a.m. and I can actually show you. Let me throw you over to the map of part of the town, which is called East Roselawn. The town is Roselawn. This is the eastern portion of it. And I want to bring your attention to the bottom right-hand corner, which is labeling Dawson's Funeral Home. Dawson's Funeral Home is the large square attached to the small rectangle building just below that yellow label. Yep, exactly. And amazingly enough, this house right here, which is across from Dawson's Funeral Home, is Howard's house. And this house right here is Sabine's house. So the two of you live literally directly across from the funeral home. So that's part of the reason why your interest was piqued, because you know who Mr. Dawson is. You've seen him almost every day since you've lived here.
Got it.
Oh man. Like, is this a big place? How busy is the funeral home normally?
This is a relatively busy funeral home for a small town. The reason for that is
A lot of
that
turnover. You're
that
welcome.
and um, he is the a well-respected funeral director within the entire county. So lots of people go to him if they don't want to bury their loved ones in the big city, which is about 20 minutes away, and if they don't want to bury their loved ones somewhere that doesn't really have uh, that they don't have knowledge about, or that they're unsure of the funeral director or the cemetery capacity in those areas. Um, Dawson's funeral home is very well respected. In fact, it's been in his family, it's been in Mr. Dawson's family for several generations. So he's sort of the son of a funeral director, the son of a mortician, who is the son of a mortician, who is the son of a mortician, kind of thing. So uh, very well respected in the community.
That's that seems like kind of an interesting family business in that you end up having to do your family business at the end of your family's life when you are inheriting the family business. I don't know. I feel like
Right.
that's very fraught.
Yes.
So that's actually pretty common in real life with funeral
Hmm.
homes.
Oh yeah,
It
I'm sure
tends
it
to
is.
be like just, hey, you get word of mouth out, and then people within their families trust this funeral home, and then, well, we knew your dad, so
Hmm. Yeah. And also, not everybody wants to deal with dead bodies, just to be a little blunt. But if you've
Hmm.
grown up in a family where that's mom's job or dad's job, well, it's sort of not, it doesn't have a gross factor. So, whereas it would, with in real life for someone not related. So, around town, you have the basic sort of amenities that would be found in any small town. You've, of course, got a diner, you've got a couple of restaurants. One of them is fancy and one of them is sort of mid tier. You've got a couple of gas stations, many, many homes. Most people in this area commute away, but there is a middle school in Roselawn, and there is a high school in Roselawn. It's a central high school, so it also gets students from all over the county. Um, but otherwise, it's a fairly small town, relatively speaking. I mean, we're not talking 100 people, but maybe 5,000 in this area. And so this little East Roselawn map is showing you, sort of one corner of the town, but it's a corner that you know really well because you've lived here for. So the question is, what would you like to do?
Um, do you think maybe we're like walking home from school or something like? Oh no, it's summer, isn't it?
It's summer. Yeah.
Um, I don't know, maybe one of us goes and like we hang out in somebody's garage or something like that, like kind of doing our own thing or something like that.
yeah, that
Probably. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I feel like that would probably end up being like either my garage or backyard, since it looks like uh, one of my parents works in the city, one has passed away, so I'm probably home alone more often than not.
Yeah.
And if one of my beliefs is that you experiment to find the answer, I've probably just taken over part of the house with that.
Yeah.
Maybe the basement, maybe the garage, maybe the garage after something like smoked us
Yeah.
out of the basement.
And I think what happens is whenever you sort of inevitably make a big old mess, like both of my parents are janitors, and so I've like learned all that sort of like industrial cleanup methodology from them. And so
I've got the
I
first aid know-how from my mom being a doctor.
yeah, right. I keep the garage looking
So
respectable.
I can tell you if it's, yeah, we'll be fine with a Band-Aid, or this is way out of my pay grade.
Yeah, so I think maybe I'm coming over to your house just sort of like normal. Um
Sounds
and
good.
mention like, oh, did you hear about this? Like, what do you think it is? I mean, it seems like unexplained. Like maybe something weird is going on in town. I bet we can find out what it is.
What if Mr. Dawson wouldn't put the body there himself? But what if the sheriff needs to know what happened? The sheriff certainly needs to know what happened to him.
I mean, I think we can probably find out, but I mean, it could be something like really creepy going on.
Do we know where the uh, body came from? That it was near someone's house, or do we just know that Mr. Dawson came across business from the sheriff?
Mr. Dawson so the sheriff supposedly found the body in the forest up there in the northern part of the map. So you could see that house right at the top is labeled Barrow's house, which you might not necessarily know, but I put it up there just for ease. That behind it is a big forest to the north. And supposedly Sheriff Oakley found a body, or someone found a body and reported to Sheriff Oakley. You're not really sure. And Oakley took the body and gave it to Mr. Dawson.
Maybe we should go see where it was and see if the sheriff left anything behind.
Oh man. Okay. I don't know. Do you want to go? Maybe should we go visit should we go visit Dawson first, or should we go up there first?
Has anyone heard from Mr. Dawson?
You, thinking about it, have not
Yeah, and like
seen.
have lights been on and stuff?
You haven't seen any activity at the Dawson house for probably 3 days.
Well, that's kind of weird.
I think we should go check on that. I'm
Yeah.
Dawson's always seemed like a decent guy. I mean, occasionally I would go over to their house when my parents were working, that sort of thing. So,
Yeah, and what if he needs the sheriff?
yeah. Maybe we should go check it out. I know where they keep can I just make up that I know where they keep a spare key?
I mean, you could always look
Would
in
that
the traditional
No,
places.
I'm asking the
Yeah.
keeper.
Oh.
So
I was
let
about
me
to
ask
say
you
that, and
this.
then I realized that might be a big deal.
Well, so let me actually, that's I am one of those DMs. I'm totally flexible. So let me ask you this. How long, I know I put in the thing that both characters live in Roselawn. How long have you actually lived in Roselawn? Were you born and raised here?
I think mine probably was.
How
I'd
about,
probably say no for me. It
okay.
was probably lived in the city, and then when Dad passed away, moved here after.
Okay. So for Sabine, since you grew up here and you probably grew up in this very house that
Mhm. Yeah, I
your
think so.
character lives in right now, across from the funeral home, you know that Mr. Dawson had a wife and daughter,
Mhm.
but they passed away.
Sure.
So it's possible that you were friends with the daughter,
Sure.
bless you, and that you might know where she used to keep an extra key just in case she accidentally ever got locked
Yeah.
out.
And I think I don't know if it's still there, right? But I know where it used to be, maybe. Is that good?
Sure,
Okay,
that's
cool.
good for me. If that's good with you,
Like I don't think I'm going over there now very often, except like,
Mhm.
if
Say hi.
yeah, or like, invite them over for dinner or something like that kind of thing, but
Right.
like an organized thing with family involved.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Yes. So do you want to walk across the street then?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Okay. So the the Dawson Funeral Home is, I'm just trying to check on one thing here. Um okay. The Dawson Funeral Home is actually so the funeral home itself has a chapel in it, and it has a large foyer waiting room, and then it also has whatever the rooms are that are necessary to, for example, prepare bodies and whatnot. You have both probably been in the chapel and the foyer waiting room. You've probably not ever been in like the office area. So if you look at this map, what you see is right under the sign that says Dawson's Funeral Home is the large square portion. That's actually the chapel and funeral home part of the building, and the smaller rectangular piece below is actually the Dawson family home. So the question is, do you want to go to the house, or do you want to go into the chapel and funeral home?
You said it was like mid morning, maybe
It's
around
probably
noon.
11:30 maybe.
Did
I
we
mean,
determine what day of the week it is? Sorry.
that's all right.
We didn't. It's a weekday, not a weekend day.
Okay, cool.
So
But
like he should be at work, right?
Yeah, theoretically. Then yeah, I would say let's go over to the funeral home. Then my knowledge of a spare key is probably at the actual house rather than the
probably, yes.
business. Yeah, I don't think I would have really had access to that in the same way.
So you go over to the house and you walk up the front step, and
Wait, are we going to the? I thought we were going to the business, right?
Yeah.
oh, I thought you were gonna go try to find a spare key for the house.
So I think that Mr. Dawson would be at work if he's there. Like if things are normal,
Yeah.
maybe just like
Oh,
we haven't
okay,
seen
okay.
lights.
So
I
you
think
will
we'll
check.
check. We'll
Yeah.
check
We'll
there
check
first.
the funeral home
And
first,
when we
and then if he's not
inevitably
there,
when we find that things are not normal there, then we'll go to the house.
what are you talking about?
This might be a short game.
Spoiler.
Nope, it's all good. Bye.
Okay. So you walk up to the foyer entrance, and the foyer entrance has two double doors, and they have sort of glass. They're made of glass, and or they have glass panels in them so that you can actually see through them into the foyer waiting room. And it looks pretty typical. If you look at the door, you see that it is unlocked.
All right. I think I'd probably take the lead since I know these folks a little better and go ahead and walk in.
Okay. So the foyer, it's called the foyer because that's where everyone waits, but really it's a sort of well-apportioned room. It has leather couches along the walls. It's got some nice lavish carpeting on the ground that is laid over some white marble flooring. It's very clean and very, dare I say, sterile. It's very white. It has lots of sort of small lamps around the room to make the lighting very soft. It's where people wait to find out, when their loved one will be interred and things like that. So it's meant to be comforting, but it's paradoxically a little bit sterile because it's also meant to, not have people just on their knees bawling all the time. There is a door out of this room to the left, and you know that that would lead into the chapel. There's also a table in this room that has a small, like guest book, sign-in book type thing.
I would probably take a glance at the guest book.
Okay.
When was the last time somebody wrote in it?
Yeah, a couple of months ago, actually. So it's mid-July right now, right in the heart of summer, and the last entry was for May 24th, and it was for a Mr. Johnson who passed away, and his family. You could see a bunch of family members sign in and write their relation and all of that.
That seems like a long time to not have anybody sign in. What do you think, Howard? Doesn't that seem like a long time?
I mean, it's always pretty not busy, but you know, there's more people than not here. Do either of us remember seeing anything since like end of May here?
Yeah, you see activity. The sign-in book, if you flip through it, you see that there are instances where there are large gaps in time. Sometimes
Okay.
that's because they use the services of the funeral home itself for the embalming and for the preparation. But then they actually, they might have services at their own home church, or they might actually do the services graveside. And in that case, they wouldn't necessarily sign into
Okay.
the book. So you see that there are some normal gaps, although this does feel a little long, but you remember seeing people going in and out of the bit. I mean, you don't recall noticing that there's been a change in the business, but
Okay.
you also haven't really been paying attention. I mean, it's not,
But it doesn't just looking at well, it's not super weird. Maybe
yeah,
it's just been slow.
it's a little odd,
Yeah, and
not
there's
super.
probably a lot of the services are going to be outdoor, like graveside, when the weather's really nice. Makes
That's
sense.
true.
Okay. Um, do we see anything else? I mean, there's not really anything else of
I
interest
mean,
around here, right? I guess if there's like if you said if there's like a desk, I might look behind it and just see if there's anything laying around, but you know.
Couple of pins maybe, but otherwise very, very sterile. Very sterile. In fact, you can tell from the smell of the room that if there's a regular cleaning service, they've been there recently.
okay. You said your parents were janitors. Were janitors for the schools?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I guess we'll walk around. Maybe there's someone here.
So the only place to go from this room is either back outside or into the chapel proper.
All right. Well, let's I guess let's go in there. I mean, I would the lights were on, right? In this building?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
They've got to be around somewhere. I mean, there is an administrative office. I don't know if I've ever been back there, but I
Yeah,
mean,
and
we don't have to go like although we could, maybe we could go look at some bodies or something. That would be okay. Let's go into
yeah,
the chapel.
yeah. If we come across some bodies, we could just
Y'all,
make
Misty
sure
was
that
literally
everything's okay.
reading the description.
Nice.
You enter the chapel, and it is actually quite large. It can double as a funeral service with the procession and everything, so it can fit about 200 people in here. And it has the sort of typical pulpit at the front of the room, which in this case is to your right if you've walked through the door. And it has the typical religious ceremonial um, decorative items along the windows. It has some stained glass up in the windows in the top. There is a door that leads out that is in the sort of in the northern corner of the room, as far from you. You would have to look all the way across to the other corner. There are some bookcases to the left of you along that wall that sort of have prayer hymnals and different books about death and grieving and missing loved ones and things like that. And you also see that there is a door on the wall to your right. So you sort of walk through you walk through this door, and the chapel extends. It's a rectangular room, and it extends out to the right from you. It extends forward and to the right. There's only a few feet to the left of you, and then there's the wall. The wall that is to the right of you as the chapel extends out. There's actually a door there that you might presume goes to the office, but otherwise this looks kind of like a church. You don't see anyone in it. at the moment. And it doesn't look like there's anything prepared. So there are no flowers up front. Sometimes when they have the funeral and they process the people for the viewing of the body and things like that, they've got it nicely prepared so that um, everyone can take care of their grieving and their family members and all that. And this doesn't have any of that. There's no flowers up there. There's nothing set up. So it appears that there's not a funeral scheduled, at least for the day.
Okay. I guess we should just knock.
Yeah, I think that's yeah. So, knock knock.
Hello?
No answer, and your knock echoes in the large cavernous chapel.
I guess we should go and see if we can look in the office. It's weird that it would be unlocked and nobody's here.
Yeah, like what if we actually were looking for, a funeral home? Maybe
Yeah.
maybe they're just in the back of the office. Is
Yeah, I
the
mean,
door locked?
yeah. I'll
The
try
door that you're
that
knocking
one.
on
Yeah.
is not locked.
Okay. We'll go through.
Do the head poking through. Hello? Anybody here?
You see a room with a stainless steel gurney right in the center of it, and there's fluorescent lights in the room, lighting the room. There's no body on the gurney, but you can see that it's the sort of traditional stainless steel gurney. There's a counter along one wall with a large sink set up and some drainage equipment. There are several cabinets. Uh, you haven't opened, but there's several cabinets there. They have a solid facing, so you can't, there's not glass. You can't see what's in them. There's also a lower cabinet, and there's a couple of stools in the room. There's also a door on the opposite wall from you, but no person in this room.
Well, I mean, do you
You
wanna
can make me a spot hidden check.
Okay. We're using the green
You're going to
dice, right?
use the green die.
Well,
Okay.
and we need to
Man.
roll under the number, right?
You need to
That's how
roll
it works?
under, right? So
Okay.
I'll just tell you what it's showing here. So it gives 3 values. We're really only using the first one. In 7th edition Call of Cthulhu, there are 3 levels of attempting a task. If the task is sort of a normal task, you would use the first number, which is your value. So I'm looking at
Okay.
Sabine's and it's a 45. The middle number there would be if it was a hard task,
Mhm.
you would have to roll under that, which is
Mhm.
Okay.
half of your regular value. And if it was extremely difficult, like superhuman necessity to attempt that, would be that third number, which is basically your value divided by 5. We're really only using that first value because we're all teenagers. So, there probably aren't going to be any like superhuman things. However, if you roll and you accidentally like succeed on an extreme, that might actually provide a benefit for you.
Hmm.
Okay.
But in this case, neither one of you succeeded. So, yeah, you don't really see anything else in the room. You presume that those cabinets have medical pieces of equipment in them, and the counters are dry, and it doesn't look like anybody's been working in here recently.
Is
Is there Oh, sorry, go ahead.
is there dust on like the gurney?
Not so much so more than a couple of days normal sort of
Okay.
use.
Um, can we Are there any like anything we can hear, weird smells? I mean, there would probably be weird smells, but like I don't know, any other senses are sort of
Yeah.
activating here?
No, I mean,
Okay.
typical. It smells like you do see a whiteboard on the wall next to one of the cabinets, and it looks like it has recently been erased, and so you can kind of smell the whatever the spray stuff is they spray
Mhm.
on,
This stuff
on
smells
like
awful.
yeah, right, and that's what you smell. So And this is, 1985, so this whiteboard is not really, it's more like it's like the very first version of whiteboard, it's very like antiquated. The only thing is it's not a chalkboard, but it's something that he writes on, and the pen that he uses to write really stinks, and the stuff you have to use to clean it off really stinks, and that's actually the overwhelming smell in the room.
Okay.
Maybe they're just open in the evening. You think he's at home?
I don't know. Should
Is he-
we keep going?
Well, it feels weird if we go anywhere in here because nobody's here and we might get in trouble.
I don't know what the next door is, if that's like office or if that's where where the bodies are.
Is there like a crack in the door or like a window so we can at least see if it's another office or if it's the morgue?
This is a windowless room.
Shocker.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, I'll go and like kind of crack the door a little bit and just like peek in.
Okay. You see a hallway,
Mm-hmm.
and it extends off, in this case, to your left, and there are 2 doors along the wall on the same side as the door you're peeking out of, and there is 1 door far down on the other side.
Well, it
Long
just
hallway. It's probably 30 feet. It's not like an extreme, enormous space, right?
One of
It's
those
not 100
cinematic
feet or anything.
wall
the hallway
hallway
unfolds in front
stretches.
of you. I'll just like relay. Well, there's like 3 doors back here.
I mean, maybe we could just ring his doorbell, see if he's home, and if he's not home, we can always come back. It's not like this place was locked.
That's true. Okay. Okay. Well, hold on, and I'll call out and I'll be like, I'll kind of step a little bit into the hallway and just be like, and yell like, Mr. Dawson.
Your voice echoes.
And I like wait a few beats, right? And see if there's
Mhm.
any like response at all.
No response.
No movement, even like no sounds.
No.
Huh.
I don't think he's here.
Okay, let's see if he's at home.
Okay.
Oh man, Mr. Dawson playing hooky.
So you're gonna go back out the way you came in. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So you leave out of the foyer waiting room, and you then travel down the sidewalk, and you go to the front door of the attached house, and you look in the typical area where his daughter used to leave her key, and it is still there.
Say, oh look, okay. I mean, what if he's really sick?
Which, how do you know where his key is?
Well, that's where. Did she have a name
Yes,
that you
sorry.
had picked out, or do you want me to just like make one up?
Her name was Rachel.
Rachel. This is where Rachel used to keep the key, like, if her parents were over at work or she lost hers. She was always forgetting things.
Who the heck is Rachel?
Oh,
Howard doesn't know who Rachel is.
oh, sorry, Howard. This happened before you moved here. Rachel Dawson. So, Mr. Dawson used to be married and like used to have um Rachel was his daughter. She was really nice. Um
Oh,
yeah. I haven't come over here nearly as much obviously since then. I
man,
feel
that must be
bad for
tough
him though.
working in a funeral home.
He seems really sad all the time now.
Man. Yeah, then I guess we better check up on him, because if something happened, then it might be a while otherwise before someone
Right.
finds out.
Um and I mean Rachel cared about him, so I'll yeah.
Yeah.
I guess let's go.
Great excuse.
clearly Sabine was a family friend here, and so this is just a thing that would happen, and that's perfectly normal. All right.
So go, knock on the front door, ring doorbell
Mhm.
or whatever it is here, and
So there's a screen on the door, and you open that, and you go to knock, and you see that the door is already open by about an inch gap.
I
Not
sort of
wide open.
Not
turn to
wide.
Howard and I'm like, that's really creepy.
What is?
Look, it's already open.
And it's not open if it was too warm or if they burnt popcorn, because then the door would just be wide open and the screen door would be closed.
Yeah. What if somebody broke in?
Well, then why would you just close the door a crack?
I
Just
don't
open the
know.
door, take the stuff, and leave.
I don't know.
Should we call the sheriff?
Well,
Well, maybe.
we have the key. We might as well, I guess, go take a look and see, right? Like,
Yeah.
it might just be that he, like, fell or something.
Or maybe he just forgot to close the door. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I do the same thing where, like, open the door and, like, Mr. Dawson, like,
Hello.
it's Sabine, like, just seeing if everything's okay, like, as I open the door, announcing to any creepy crawly that I am walking in the door.
Your
This
voice
little town.
your voice does not echo, but there's no sound, and the house is quiet.
I think something's really wrong.
When you look around, if you pause and wait for a response, and then there is no
Oh
response,
yeah.
you're still sort of looking. You see empty bourbon bottles and empty like Hungry Man dinner
Mhm.
trays and empty beer bottles next to the comfy chair in the living room. And
Is there anything, like, on the floor near the door or, like, any? Because that just sounds like generic sad dude.
there's and the door opens sort of into the main living room and kitchen area, and all you see is sort of messy dishes in the sink, and there's plates on the table, and 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 just the sort of generic disarray of a single person who hasn't cleaned up after themselves for a while. That's all. At least that's what it seems like at first glance. There's nothing that looks suspicious. I mean, aside from the absence of the person, there's nothing that looks
Yeah.
suspicious.
Yeah.
You see that there are, though, a multitude. I mean, just from your view, you're still standing in the doorway, so you haven't really looked at anything very close. But just from standing in the doorway, you see a multitude of pictures hanging on the walls of Mr. Dawson and his wife Amy and their daughter Rachel at various different stages of her life. She died. This was a few years ago, 3, 4 years ago. So she was your age. So this was when she was about 11.
I probably haven't really seen a picture of her in a while, given that this is 1985. Um,
Correct.
Right.
and I don't have like Facebook or Insta or something to look at,
Right.
or cell
Hmm.
phone like saved on my phone or anything.
That's
So,
crazy.
I might have, I don't know how close of friends we were. I might have like a picture or two at home, but they're probably tucked away somewhere or in
Hmm.
a scrapbook or something. And
Right.
so I would probably go over to those pictures and just take some time and look at them and just be like, oh right, like honestly, 4 years, like this is what her face looks like. Like, oh, I forgot she had that scar or whatever, like,
Or,
Right.
or
hey,
her
I remember
birthmark
when
or
we went
whatever,
to that place, or
Right,
Right.
exactly. Like, oh, she always
Yeah.
wore her hair that way, kind of thing.
hmm
Just sort of that, a little bit of
Right.
that.
And also forever frozen at that age, right? Like
Right.
you don't
like
know what
she
she
looked
would
so
look
young
like.
like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. You notice that the pictures, everything else in the house is very dirty and dusty, and if you glance at the cabinet that has the VHS tapes on it, there's just a solid layer of dust. You could write your name in it. The pictures, however, are all clean.
Yeah. So I kind of turn to Howard and I go, this was Rachel. And this was Mrs. Dawson. I still miss Rachel sometimes. I think she would have liked you too. We could have all hung out together.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
And judging by the living room or kitchen or whatever, I would surmise that Mr. Dawson also still misses his family. I think this is the only thing cleaned in here.
Yeah.
Was there anything? Was there like an accident or something? Like it wasn't just like some town mystery of what the heck happened, right?
Right, it was a car accident.
Yeah, I was assuming, yeah, probably. Yeah, it was a car accident. Um, God, I don't even remember what they were doing that day. I think I was, I wanted to hang out with her that day, I think, but my parents made me go to a stupid thing with them.
So weird.
So you guys chat for a while, but then you finish looking around the house.
Hmm.
You see that the bedroom is in disarray. The laundry's piling up. Once again, every picture of Amy and Rachel is clean. The bathroom, similar thing. Nothing abnormal, but extremely messy. There's a little office room, same thing, things piled all over. Empty bourbon bottles, empty beer bottles, dust. Everything's in disarray. There is a doorway that leads into a utility room, and that utility room has a doorway that goes out, but it doesn't go outdoors. It looks like it goes into the funeral home side. So that's probably how he got into the funeral home from his house. You also see that there's a deck in the back. There's a nice deck. There's a sliding glass door off the living room, and there's a deck. And there's a table outside, like a picnic table type wooden, all wooden structure. And there's just bottles all over it.
Does the glass door have a lock on it? And if so, was it locked?
Um,
The sliding glass door.
it does have a lock, but no, it was not locked.
This feels like the intro to the game The Last of Us, where anyway.
So
Funnily enough, I've only ever seen the intro because I haven't played that game.
One of the best
But I know what you're
intros of a
talking
video
about.
game ever made, right? But
Yeah.
I haven't actually played the game, but I've watched it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never played the game, and I watched it on YouTube, and I was still crying by the end of it.
No, I mean I haven't even watched all of it. I've only seen the intro.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. The intro sequence is like 5 to 8 minutes long or something, and I was already crying by the end of the intro sequence,
Yeah.
even though I never played the game. Okay, anyway, it's a great intro.
It doesn't look like anyone's. If someone broke in the front and left the door open, does it look like they left through a different?
So the
place?
thing is that in 1985 in Roselawn, probably most people are leaving their front doors unlocked.
Okay, that's good context.
So
that's not too weird.
That wouldn't be necessarily weird to you. Now, the fact that it was actually open is weird, but you know what? Maybe it just didn't. I mean, judging by his ability to clean up and notice
Other
things,
things.
right? So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So at this point, we've explored the whole house, right?
pretty much, yeah. I mean, if there is somewhere that you specifically would like to look, and something that you would specifically like to look for at this point, then you can do so. But right now, when you look around, all you see is the house of a person who's drinking a lot and
Uh,
mourning.
so there's. You said it was the middle of summer, so like mid-July. It had been maybe half a week since we saw any activity from the house or the funeral home.
Right.
That means it's probably been pretty hot,
Hmm.
unless we're in the southern hemisphere. But you said nowhere USA, so it's probably pretty hot. Does anything smell really, really bad in the house anywhere?
Oh, and is the AC like on and set, or do they have it
There is
like
AC,
set up?
but it's off. Like it's window units, and they're all off.
Got it. Okay.
It's pretty warm in there and a bit humid. The stinky smell just comes from the sink where dirty dishes are.
Okay, but not like we need to call the cops right now. Stinky smell.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's not a rotting body shoved under the bed or something.
Look, man, it's
Right.
hot. It would have been real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like,
Yeah, mid-July. Yes, very, very quick.
should we
Um,
should we look out back, see if there's anything out there?
I mean, yeah.
Okay. So we'll just kind of go look out back. I'd probably take a peek under the deck.
mhm. Okay. So you walk out. You look under the deck. The deck has one of those. What do you call it? Those like mesh type of wooden um
Trellises?
like trellis type things around the bottom of it. So you
Okay.
Oh,
can look
okay.
through, yeah, and you could see under it does it's just dirt and you
Hmm.
know whatever, the foundation of the house under it. The house actually backs up to a hill. So there's a deck and then there's this sort of slow hill, and at the top of the hill there's a couple of trees. And there's probably a pretty good view from that hill. In fact, Sabine has probably been up on that hill,
Yeah.
um, and seen, parts of the town and whatnot in the past, although it's been 4 or 5 years maybe. So,
Yeah. I'd probably like once I'm done looking at the deck, I'd probably just like go walk up there, sort of up in my head a little bit.
okay. Is Howard just following?
I'll follow, giving her a little space.
Okay.
Like
I probably
I'll
just
keep
get
looking
like that
around.
sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll look around, make sure there's nothing super obvious that she's not missing because she's concentrating on getting to wherever she's going.
Yeah. Um, you get up to the top of the hill and you notice something that was not there previously, and that is two gravestones between those two trees that are at the top of the hill.
Mm.
So roll me a spot hidden.
There we go.
Does Howard want to roll one too?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Howard has not been up the hill before, so everything Howard sees is new, so he's taking it in. But Sabine notices there's these two graves, um, and obviously the names on the gravestones match
Yeah.
Mr. Dawson's wife and child, Amy Dawson, Rachel Dawson. But it looks like the graves are fresh. Like the ground has been disturbed, as if the people were just buried, but they weren't. I mean, they died 4 years ago.
Yeah. I assumed that I would have gone to their funeral service, may have even seen them like graveside, not necessarily actively getting buried, but like I probably would know where their graves are. Are they
Um,
is this the official location of their graves?
no. When you went to the funeral. You went to the funeral in the chapel, and then they
Yeah.
went and they interred the bodies in the cemetery on the
Sure.
other side of town.
So
You did not know that these were
yeah.
here.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. So I kind of turn to Howard and I say, "This is weird." Um, I mean, their graves are in the cemetery. I've been there.
What? But
These, I mean, obviously these are new since the last time I got here, since the last time I was up here with Rachel,
well, yeah.
but these look like new. Look at that. I mean, maybe he like just put in a memorial. I mean, it seems weird that it took this long.
Yeah, that's not really.
I mean, maybe he was just. I mean, he is really sad, but
But that doesn't seem like something you would just do all of a sudden.
we're not like coming up on the
4
anniversary or
years
something of
later,
it,
not
right?
like.
No, they died in the wintertime, so
Okay,
it was a
Okay.
January car crash. Do you want to give me a medicine check for Howard as he's sort of looking at
Sure.
these graves?
Ooh.
Ew. Hard.
So you know from just your general science knowledge that if somebody digs up a grave, it looks a certain way. These graves look like something came out of the ground, not that something from outside dug into the ground.
Sabine? Sabine, this looks like an exit, not an entrance. Kind
And
of
so I need a
thing.
sanity check from Howard.
I don't like that. So the green button next to sanity.
Yeah, that should do it.
Whoa.
This is weird. I don't like it. But I
Wow.
guess we're cool with it.
You're extremely sane.
You actually, so it doesn't break your sanity at all because you're sure now that this is somebody playing a trick. Like this is,
Man, what a dickhead. Who the heck buries like new graves in this guy's backyard? And then like maybe someone scared the crap out of him.
You think somebody was playing a trick on Mr. Dawson? I mean,
Well, okay,
I don't. Was there anybody that even didn't like him? I mean,
something came out of here, not into there. Well, maybe they did both, but this is
wait,
something coming out.
Howard, what? Run that. What?
So I'll make motions like, well, when you bury something, then you put things on top of other dirt, and when the cicadas come out and groundhogs come out, you see the mounds of dirt when they come out of the ground, and this looks more like that.
You think something? Do you think something like?
It also kind of looks like the zombie movies.
Human-sized came out of there.
Yeah, we talking like groundhog or like small pony size?
large. So now I need a sanity check from
Oh
Sid.
yeah. Oh yeah. I was waiting for that. Yeah, fail. Woo! Chip in away.
I'm doing such a great job explaining this that it scared the crap out of you.
I'm so excited. What do I do now? 1d3. Okay.
You take 3 sanity loss.
Oh man, that's when you want to roll low. I got it.
I'm down to a 37.
Woo!
You're starting with a 40?
Yes, that's part of why I picked this character.
Okay.
To have fun, not sanity times.
Yeah,
But
alright.
now So Howard is convinced this is some kind of a prank.
Yeah, some jerk just doesn't like Mr. Dawson.
But Sabine is like, no, this is real. Something real is happening here.
Well, and I specifically believe in cults and that science doesn't explain everything. So I think that is like where my mind is starting to go, right? Is that like some weird like necromantic stuff is going down in this dude's backyard. And I think
Mhm.
Howard's like, oh, it's a trick, makes me think that like it is like something mean being done to Mr. Dawson. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Right.
But it's a necromantic mean trick.
Exactly, yeah.
All right.
So, where to now?
Well, who would do that?
Well, why are they even here? They're I mean, I didn't are those other ones empty? I mean, I didn't like
I'm not gonna go
watch
digging and find
them
out.
I didn't watch them get buried, but like their graves are, you know, however many 3 or 4 miles away, like whatever it is.
I'm
But
gonna
like
be honest, I'm not digging this one out, and I'm not digging that one out to find out.
so
Uh,
who's in
it,
which one?
so you would probably know just from being across from the funeral home and from being friends with the daughter and whatnot that
Yeah.
whenever there's an interment, there are records for that interment.
They're
And
what?
so there are records for the interment. So
Mhm.
if he interred his family here, he probably had to get a permit, and so there has to be a record of. So you might check his office in the funeral home
If he did it
if he did
legally.
Yeah.
legally, right?
Which, I mean, if you're gonna go that amount of trouble to move your family's remains,
I want to go find out if we should go back to his office. I feel like we should find out if they were moved, if he moved them.
All right. Oh snap! I just found out I have stuff. I have a camera.
Did you just find out you have an inventory?
Sorry,
I
should.
scroll. You
I'm
just
so smart. Well, normally I'm used to my inventory not doing that much, so I just ignore it when I do find it. But I apparently have
Oh, you know what?
a notebook, pencil, and a camera, so I'm totally taking a picture of this weird somebody was a jerk and dug a hole outside of a grave.
I might like take a magnifying glass to the dirt and just see if I see anything.
Yeah, and I'll
Okay.
point out like, hey, see, this is why it comes out, not in.
Yeah. But just do like a little bit of a scan for anything.
So roll me a. That's going to be a. If you,
Archaeology.
yeah, what it could be archaeology or it could be a science. Let me
Well, my
see.
sciences are physics and astronomy, so I don't think they really apply.
Yeah,
Right.
so
So I
yep,
think archaeology would
yep,
be my
that works.
best. I also have natural world, but they're both 40, so it doesn't really matter. Fumble.
Oh, ouch.
Shots fired.
As you're
Fall into it.
as you're trying to look down, you accidentally fall into where the ground is dug up, and it
Mhm.
sinks down a little bit, and it scares the bejesus out of you. So I need another sanity roll from you.
Sabine, you're supposed to be careful.
Another D3.
It is another D3, so another one sand you just lost as you scramble out of the dirt.
Ah! I'm not gonna scream into my mic, but she probably screams like bloody murder level, like ah!
Well, that's what happens when you.
But you do as you're getting out, you happen to look down and you see some tiny threads in the ground.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely like look, and if I can use the magnifying glass to my advantage, I will for
Sure.
sure. Yeah.
They look like clothing threads, and
Um.
they're like pinkish color,
Okay.
and they're dirty, and they look old.
Does that match? Did I? Did I see her? Was it? Were either of them like open casket viewings or anything
Uh, the
at the
daughter was
funerals?
the daughter was not an open casket.
Okay. And this is Rachel's. I'm under Rachel's.
Yes.
Okay. So I will grab the threads and put it in my little sample box.
Okay. Okay. So you do that. Um, anything else you would like to do?
Maybe you should
I
check the
might.
other one carefully so you don't fall in this time.
Okay, okay. So I'll go and do the other one.
Okay. Roll me an archaeology check again.
It went so well last time. Oh,
Oh,
it went
nice.
really well this time.
You sort of hunt around, and not only do you find some threads, and as you pull them, you pull out an entire swatch of cloth, little, probably 2 inch by 2 inch piece of cloth, and it's dirty and musty and old, and it's a reddish fabric. And so you remember that when you went to the funeral, and they did have an open casket for the mom, Amy, and she was wearing a dark red dress. And so
I
I need yet another
I
sanity
know,
roll
I
from you.
absolutely 100% agree with you. Like I think that really hits her to her core. And then
Mhm.
so I'm at 35 max.
And
Okay, so I'll be at 34
so
now.
yeah. So you are freaked out.
This
The
is yeah, I go, "Oh my gosh, this matches what she was wearing. This is real. This is what Mrs. Dawson was wearing. This is it. Oh my gosh, like this is actually
Someone
where she
would
is."
someone dug up their other grave just to do this?
Uh, I don't know. I can't believe this is real. I think
That's
I can't be here anymore.
that's
We have
so
to
messed
leave.
up.
I think I don't know if we I don't know if we
Yeah,
should go back to the office or somewhere else, but I just like I can't be around this anymore.
if you would have if you mentioned something about the records, I'd be like, well, let's let's go back to the funeral home. We'll
I
go
probably
there.
said like after the first one, I think I said like, oh, we could go back to the office and see if he moved them or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know if I
let's go
specifically said.
find the records. If we can find them, then one, someone else could find them too. And maybe we'll just see that there was something there was just some construction at the cemetery and they had to move them for something else.
Okay. I
Like maybe there was flooding.
and she's like very clearly like she's backing away from this. Like she needs to get out of this space, even if we're still
Yeah.
talking.
Just
Okay.
grab your hand like we're going this way. Go further away from the grave you just fell in. We'll go the nice clean foyer and chapel and
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does Howard feel? Does Howard believe this is happening, or you still think it's a joke? Like it's a trick, a nasty, dirty joke, but a joke
it's
nonetheless.
definitely messed up.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
but like it would have if it's a joke, then it would have to be someone that knew Rachel and Amy, someone who possibly was there at the funeral and knew where they were buried, or they would have to know that there were records, which I don't think is like a common knowledge kind of thing. And that all seems pretty suspicious for that all to be perfect just so you could pull up a really messed up prank. And do I know of anyone in town that's either that messed up or that really, really, really dislikes Mr. Dawson?
Yeah, I mean, you're racking your brain. You can't, I mean, you didn't know Mr. Dawson that well. You knew him and he waved at you and you were there and you knew what his job was. But in
But like,
terms of, you
if
know,
someone disliked him that much, they'd like egg his house.
yeah, I
Like
mean,
we would have at least noticed something like that,
yeah,
and
nothing
nothing.
that, nope.
So, like, yeah, it should just be a prank. But that's how would you even? That's messed up. Okay, this is kind of weird. You're freaking me out here.
Okay, so so the two of you go back in through the sliding glass door
Mhm.
into the living room. Um, are you going to go out and around back to the foyer, or are you going to try to go through the utility room here that you think goes into the funeral home?
Probably through the
That's
utility room,
yeah.
but if Howard has a different opinion, I think she'll just kind of follow him a little bit at this point. So feel free to.
I think the utility room is going to be the fastest way to get there. And also, if something did still happen to Mr. Dawson, then this is someplace that we haven't checked yet.
Okay. You notice as you walk in through into the living room to go through to the utility room, some of the bottles that were like empty beer bottles or bourbon bottles or whatever, some of them that were sort of on their sides, they're standing right side up. And there appear to be fewer of them than what you think you saw. It almost looks like somebody is starting to clean up some things, and so the only thing that's left now on, for example, the coffee table in front of the couch are two brand new bottles of bourbon, not empty ones. And the expended bottles, the used bottles that were there, are now not on the coffee table.
All right. I'm not going to say anything to Sabine because she's clearly freaked out already.
Okay.
I'm just
Yeah,
going
I
to
don't think I register that at this point.
I'm just going to loudly talk and say, "We'll just go through this way. It's quicker." He's probably back at work now. And that
Okay.
way, if he's at home and he's the one cleaning, then he'll know that we're here and not just creeping around through his house.
Right. Okay.
And if it's not that, then maybe they'll avoid us and we can go this way.
Okay. So you go through the laundry room or the utility room, and it has, washer and dryer. And then it has a door. And that door does indeed lead into the funeral home portion, but it leads into the hallway part. So it's actually the door that was the farthest away door from where you had been. So what you have what you have now is a hallway in front of you. First of all, when you open the door, the hallway goes off to the left of you. Right in front of you is a door, and several feet to the left of you, there is another door on the other side of the wall. And then several feet beyond that is the door that you had peeked out of previously. So there are three doors on the opposite wall from where you are right now. The one on the farthest leftmost is the one that you peeked your head out. And there are two others, one in the middle and one in front of you.
um,
Did the other doors look different? Like one wooden, one metal? Like,
Nope,
do they have signs or anything?
nope. They're all sort of the same kind of door as the one that you peeked out of from that preparation room. They're kind of the sterile
All right.
metal medical type doors with no windows.
Meeny, meeny, miny. That one. All right. It's kind of freaky that someone was cleaning, and let's go into this middle one so that it'll take longer for anything creepy to follow us.
Into the middle one. Okay. You open that door, and what you see in front of you is it is a room that's roughly the same size as the preparation room, except on the far wall, on the other opposite side of the room from you, is a large incinerator. and there are, of course, flashing fluorescent lights. There is a gurney standing right in front of her, sitting, right in front of the opening to the incinerator. And there's a body on top of the gurney.
Right. Wrong room. We're going to the next door.
I mean, did Howard let me see in that room?
I just like one hand behind me, open the door.
What was in there?
Just another prep room. It's got smells funny.
Was the incinerator on?
It
Was it
was,
lit
yes,
or
at a low
whatever?
burn.
It's probably why it smelled funny.
I go, no, what's in there? Come on, we've looked through everything together. We're not gonna figure out what happened if we don't look everywhere.
Yes, but we should at least know what's in the other room first, then we can come back.
What are you hiding from me, Howard? I know when you're lying to me.
What? Me?
You are so bad at this. Come on, tell me. Come on, and like if Howard doesn't like sort of start to bend, like she'll just go open the door.
You're gonna open the door?
Yeah.
Okay. You see a large incinerator on the far wall. It's the main door to it is open. It's on. You can tell because the sound, but it's on such a low level. It's just warm. It's not like having flames licking out of it or anything like that.
Okay.
And there is a gurney in front of it, and there's a body on the gurney, and it's covered with a sheet.
Oh my God! What if you?
See, we should look in the other room first. There are clearly
No,
no
we
records
should-
here.
What? Why? Wait. If nobody's here, why would this be on, Howard?
Because it takes a lot of power. I thought you just didn't turn those off, kind of like the heater in really large buildings.
I don't know.
Isn't it always on?
Rachel wasn't allowed near the incinerator, so I don't know. Neither of us were.
If my parents had one, I probably wouldn't either, but
We should see who it is.
Is this body in a bag, or is it like under a cover and like there's the little paper tag on the toe?
It's on a metal gurney with a sheet over it. And the sheet actually is kind of haphazardly on there. It's not even
great.
On perfectly. And there is a toe tag.
Well, okay. Well, we're just looking at whatever the little piece of paper says.
Okay. Will you stay with me? Don't leave.
Yeah, because you already fell in the grave today.
So one of you wants to look at the toe tag?
Yeah, I'll walk up, but I have like Howard like this.
Okay, so the toe tag is actually facing the other way, so you'll have to touch it and turn it if you want to read it.
Okay.
I'm gonna like peek over her shoulder.
Okay, so give me a dexterity. So in this case, because it's not a skill, you just roll based on your characteristic.
Okay.
Okay, so you very gingerly and very, very gently turn the tag so that you're not touching any part of the sheet or the body or anything, and you turn the tag, and it says Henry Burroughs.
Wait, didn't this happen like? Wasn't it like 3 days ago or something?
More than that, it was several. So he, the what the sheriff said and what the rumors are is that he gave the body to Mr. Dawson, funeral director, 5 days ago. He found the body a few days before that.
So it's been over a week.
Is it? Right. Does it smell?
No.
Probably AC and a buttload of formaldehyde.
Actually, you don't smell formaldehyde either. In fact, you don't smell anything. Like, no, I mean, you smell things, but you don't you don't smell what you thought you might smell with a dead body.
Regrets.
You smell regret.
Well, it.
Yeah, right.
I'm kind of surprised he would be left out here this long.
Is all right. So if I don't smell formaldehyde and I don't smell dead body,
Okay.
then I'm just gonna like vaguely touch like the foot. Does it feel like it's been in a freezer or something?
It's cold, but it's not frozen. Like,
Not like
like
refrigerator or frozen.
right. It's
Oh my
cold.
gosh,
Like
why did you touch it?
also, I need you both to make a sanity check.
That's
At what
fair.
threshold do I start getting in trouble with my sanity?
I will let you know when that starts happening.
I'm just checking to see maybe like someone just took them out of the freezer.
But what did it feel like?
I mean, kind of cold. It's kind of
Ugh.
cold in here.
You just touched a dead person.
So that's
Well,
a loss of 3 for Sabine again.
I'm down to 31.
oh no.
So Howard, the body felt cool to the touch, not frozen, and the skin feels amazingly like natural. Like you always imagined that if you like a dead body would smell really bad, or even one that was preserved would be like kind of weird, waxy. Nothing. It felt like an actual living person's foot, but just cool.
Do I remember seeing a telephone in the other office that we were in?
The only
Or
place
in
that
the
you've
house, I
seen
guess.
the only place you've seen a telephone is hanging on the wall in Dawson's kitchen. You haven't actually been in a room with a telephone in the funeral home yet.
All right, this is freaky. I'm gonna go see if there's a phone in the room.
You can't leave me.
Yes, I know. That's why you're coming with me.
Are you going into the other room, or are you going back into the house where you know there's a phone?
Other
As
room to check
as
first.
as we're walking out.
No, don't you fucking dare.
As
I know what you're
we're
doing. Don't
walking
you
out.
fucking dare.
As we're walking out, I grab the very tip of the sheet and flip it back just enough to see the face and then run away.
No, I thought you were going to touch it. This was worse.
I had to do it for science.
You're not as wrong as you could be, and I'm still mad at you. It was a good reason. I still don't like it.
The entire sheet falls off of the entirety. It just slides right off, just right off onto the ground. And you see a naked male body of a person who probably was 50, but he actually doesn't look like he has it. He doesn't have any, obvious wounds or anything like that. If you want to look at the body closer, you're going to have to make me a spot hidden roll.
I'm just gonna keep scooting you out of this room.
I think I let myself get pushed out. I'm like,
you're like,
I like did not intend to do that, and so just like,
Ow, 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 ow.
Okay. And you go into the room next door?
Yeah, because
Okay.
if there's a phone there, it's closer. If not, we can go back to the phone in the house.
Okay. So that room you walk into is obviously an office. It has a desk facing 2 chairs. It has cabinets behind the desk. It has some bookcases behind the desk, or actually on the other opposite wall. And there's a carpet on the ground. There's a file cabinet. It's cluttered it has there are what you see immediately without having to make a check or search for anything is you do see a phone on the desk. There is also 2 pictures in frames. One is a woman holding a baby, and the other is who you recognize as Mr. Dawson sitting on the hill. You recognize it as the hill behind the house with a young woman who you presume is his wife. And so that's what you see immediately. So there is a phone. There's also file cabinets and desks.
I think at the presentation of this of like what's going on here, I'm like, okay, I will see if I can find like I'll look in the filing cabinet because I know what date I'll look through the filing cabinet.
Okay, the
Yeah.
filing cabinet door is locked.
Is it a combination lock?
It is a keyed lock.
Okay, well, I'll look through the desk then.
Okay.
I was gonna say, while you're doing that, the first thing I'm
Yeah,
doing is
because
calling
it'll
the
take me a
freaking
while to
sheriff.
like rifle through. Yeah.
So what's Howard doing while Sabine is rifling through?
Calling 911 because this is weird.
Okay.
And because I don't want to get blamed for when someone goes, "Why is the sheet off of this dead body in the incinerator room?"
Okay. So roll
My
me a spot.
emergency is weird.
I'm gonna have both of you roll me a spot hidden.
Okay.
Oh, now we're all
Ooh.
paranoid.
I think this is the first time that we've both succeeded
gotten
on
it.
something.
Yeah. So both of you at the same time, as Howard is reaching for the phone, you look over and you see the name Burroughs written on a piece of paper tacked to the wall. And it's in like using a big thick Sharpie. And it has like 2 exclamation points after the name. And as Howard picks up the phone to call, Sabine opens the drawers to the desk. And in one of the drawers is a medical file.
Okay, I'll take a look at least see if I can find whose it is.
Okay.
The name.
You open the flap of the file, and you see a medical report that would typically be sort of almost like what you see, like those old style autopsy, where they write down where any marks that were on the body were.
Mm-hmm.
This one's completely blank, except it has something on the hands.
Mm-hmm.
And it says Henry W. Burroughs at the top, and it has his address on it. And the rest of the file, the rest of the information is filled out, and it's filled out in this very shaky scrawl. And it's sort of, it answers the most basic questions: height and weight and approximate age and that sort of thing. And then, it says things like no noticeable lacerations, no cause of death unknown. And then a little bit farther down the page in capital letters, it says, "He doesn't burn," with an exclamation point. And then, "He doesn't burn," with an exclamation point. And the rest of the file is blank. That's all that's in that file. All the rest of the pages are
The
blank.
face that Jane is making.
Is it the same?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it the same handwriting?
Same handwriting, but it's as it goes down the page, you could see it's getting increasingly shaky and nervous and different. But it is definitely the same.
I have an important question.
Yes.
So, if I look over and I see this writing on the walls of clearly the dead guy that was next door, does the door that we just came in have a lock?
The door that you just came in does have a lock. It is an office door. It was not locked when you came in, but there is a lock.
It's
one
about
of
to
those
be.
Turn locks. So you put down the phone and go lock the door?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we'll go back to the phone and call the sheriff.
So you're calling 911?
I need an adult.
Oak County Emergency. What is your location?
Oh God! Dead body! Dead body!
I'm sorry, sir. Please calm down. Where is your location?
The funeral home. It's a new one.
The new funeral home. What city are you located in, please?
Roselawn.
At what point do I get to the he doesn't burn? Like where in the
About
time?
right now.
Okay, so suddenly in the background, oh my God! Ah!
I'm sorry, sir. Can you tell me what's going on? You say you have a dead body.
He's been missing, and now there's this. And what are you screaming about over there?
He
Okay,
doesn't burn.
calm
He doesn't
down.
burn.
I have some
Why doesn't he
units
burn?
dispatched. They're on their way. The closest is still 5 minutes away. I need you to make sure that you're safe and secure. Are there any weapons in the vicinity?
I'm going to tear open any drawers that Sabine hasn't already opened and search for a weapon or thing that could be a weapon.
You don't see anything of that nature. I mean, you see like
Medical office,
equipment.
no scalpel. What kind of lame office is it? All right.
Well,
Well,
I
not
mean,
in the
it's not
office.
prep
There's
room. Yeah,
every kind of weapon you could want elsewhere in the building.
down the hall.
We're not going there.
Does the
Is
office-
everyone in your location safe right now, other than the deceased person that you're calling?
Is this desk movable?
Please stay on the line. The desk will move, sure.
Does the door open in or out?
In.
Yeah, we're just gonna barricade ourselves in.
Okay. Sabine, are you happy with this turn of events?
Yeah, it's fine. As soon as Howard's off the phone, I will fill him in on what happened in the
So
medical report.
so the 911 operator is gonna say to stay on the line. They don't want you to get off the phone.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean always paying attention to the phone.
Yeah, do you just like put the receiver down?
Yeah.
Because I assume it's wired,
Okay.
right? Because it's 1985.
Yeah, it's an
Everything's
old
wired.
style,
Yeah.
Okay. So you put the
Otherwise-
receiver down. Do you hang it up or do you actually just put it
No,
down?
just like put it down on the table, scoot
Okay.
the desk
So
over.
So they might hear what you're saying, Sabine. I mean, you might not recognize that, but just so you know.
They said they're like 5 minutes or less away.
Howard,
Yeah,
Howard, look at this medical report.
It's just a medical report.
No, look at the bottom.
I'm looking.
And like points directly at the he doesn't burn.
I don't like this.
There's something really weird about that body.
Like how it's there and it's not supposed to be.
You start hearing sirens, although they sound like they're quite a bit away.
Is there a window in here?
No, this is a windowless room. This entire
I've trapped
internal,
us.
the prep room, the incinerary, and the office are all internal and have no windows.
So I give the medical record to Howard, or I put it on the table or wherever, and then I guess I like keep looking.
I mean, yeah, it's not like we're gonna run, I guess. So
Okay.
So I will keep looking through the desk drawers if there's anything else in there.
Okay. You find a small black book that has
Names and phone numbers.
no, it looks like a diary, like
Oh,
a small diary, but
okay.
it's not in the same writing that the medical file was in. You also find a small map, and you find several different pieces of paper with
Mhm.
an address on it, and the address is always the same. And if you cross-reference the address to the medical file, you see that it's Henry Burroughs' address.
Okay. I will look at the map.
Okay. will show you the map here on roll 20.
I feel so bad for this 911 operator who's clearly just heard the entire thing go dunk, 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 dunk. Russell, 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 Russell. What do
He
you
doesn't
mean?
burn.
He's there. What do you mean he doesn't burn?
So there
feel
is
so
the
bad
map
for
that you found.
Okay. This map is weird. So I kind of put that down. Maybe I'll probably put this in my pocket because I know where the address is, but
hmm
this is new information to me and I won't necessarily remember it. So I'll shove that in my pocket and then I'm going to look at this diary because that's really the juicy bit, I think, in my mind.
Okay. In the 2 minutes that you have before the sirens get close enough that you realize they have arrived, what you can gather is that
So what I would probably do is read just enough to see if I could figure out whose it was and then
mhm.
go to the last couple entries.
Okay.
That's
It's the diary of Henry Burroughs, and it only encompasses a few days. It's very,
Okay.
it's a small, you know,
Very small.
it
Black
basically is one of those really small black books with the name and address, except he didn't use it as a name and address. He was writing his diary entries in it. And it tells a story of a place he found in the woods where nothing grows, but when you go there, you feel a presence. And he has a couple of sentences where he talks about what he calls, quote, the other side, and talks about him going back to his house and researching the other side. And that's about as much as you get in the 2 minutes before you hear someone pounding on the door.
I will shove that in my pocket as well.
You hear a female voice say, "Sheriff's office, open up!"
Oh, thank God!
Are they
Shove the
like
desk out of the way.
outside this office door or are they outside the building door?
They are outside the building door.
I say I'm not going out there.
Plug your ears.
Are you going to let them in, or are you going to stay in the room where you?
I'm staying in the room,
Okay.
but I'm just gonna yell at them. I'll
Okay.
tell Sabine to plug her ears first so I don't deafen her.
Oh, sure, yeah. So just like, okay.
Okay.
We're in the back on the right door.
Okay. Several minutes go by, several painstaking, nervous minutes, and then there's a knock on the door. Is everyone okay?
Who is it?
It's Deputy Evans. Let me in.
Does it sound like Deputy Evans?
Yeah.
Is he
You-
trustworthy? Is she trustworthy?
Well, that's. She's a female sheriff's deputy in 1985 who is. So I don't know if that's trustworthy or
What
not.
was the last bit you said? Who was what?
She's a former military.
Okay.
All right. Well, she's obviously good enough to be a sheriff's deputy, even in 1985. So, well, yeah, help me move the desk.
Okay. So we move the desk out of the way,
Okay.
and
I'll hang
then
up the phone because it probably falls off while we're moving it.
Okay.
you hang up, and I'm like, "Why'd you do that? That was a person."
What? There's a person right there.
So we're like arguing as we're moving this table.
Yeah. So you're moving the desk, and you see the door handle start to wiggle like somebody's trying to open it.
Oh yeah, I locked it. Open at a crack. Look out.
As you open it, it gets pushed in, and there's Deputy Evans, and she's got her gun out, and she sweeps it across the room. What's going on in here? Did you call the police?
Come in and close the door. It's scary out there. There's a body. It's not doesn't burn. It shouldn't
Did
and we
what?
shouldn't have we didn't realize it was we didn't think it would be this bad.
This is
And
a
he's missing.
funeral
We
home.
haven't seen him in 3
Of
days.
course, of course there's a body. It's a funeral home.
It's been there over a week and it doesn't smell funny.
It's probably embalmed. What are you
It's
doing
not.
in here? You teenagers should not be around this area.
We were
Why are you
checking
in
on
here?
Mr. Dawson.
We haven't seen him
He's
in
like a
ages.
sad, lonely guy. Look, it's really scary.
We live across the street. We haven't seen him in like half a week.
And the doors were all unlocked.
And it looked like someone was in his house or something because the door was open and then there's like there's things in his backyard.
Yeah, it looks like
zombies?
somebody. It looked like
Okay,
somebody
calm
came out
down.
of the
Calm down.
backyard.
Wait. So,
Poor Deputy Evans.
why don't the both of you roll me a charm check?
Can't wait to fail this miserably.
Well, yeah, 15. Yup.
Oh.
Oh, good job, Howard.
Clearly, I started crying, and this is just pity.
All right, calm down now. Explain to me slowly what's happening.
Well, we heard some stuff about Mr. Dawson, and we just went to go check on him and see if he was okay, but all the all the doors were unlocked, but nobody was here, and that seemed weird because it's like he should be working right now. And so we went over to his house, and I used to be friends with Rachel, and so I mean, all the doors were unlocked there too, but I also knew where
door
they
was
used to keep a
open.
key, and so yeah, the door was open. We thought there was a problem, or maybe he'd fallen or gotten hurt, or something like that. So we went to go check on him, and there was nobody there. And then we went out to the backyard where Rachel and I used to hang out on the
Okay,
hill,
wait,
and then there were these weirdly dug graves, and
Hold
then we
on.
came back here so
Wait
that
a
we were
minute.
and then
Wait a minute.
what?
She takes her walkie-talkie and she, clicks it on. 10:54. Location clear. Cancel call. Turns the thing off. Hangs it back on her belt loop. Okay, so what you're telling me is you were worried about the funeral director.
He is nobody anymore.
So you broke into his house.
It was open. The door was open.
Okay,
We knocked and rang the
you
doorbell.
walked into his house and then decided to come into his office in the funeral home.
Well, we hadn't checked in here. Maybe he was in here.
Yeah, maybe he fell
And
asleep.
why didn't you leave when you didn't find him?
Well, and then I point at like the thing on the wall that just says Burrows. Like, isn't that weird?
Because I picked the wrong door first because I didn't know which one the office was, and then there was a dead body instead.
All right,
we saw the body, and it was just
show me the dead
sitting out
body.
there. It's
Lead the way.
creepy.
It's next door, and it doesn't burn.
It's here, and then I'm like, but wait, before you go in there, you should see this. And I hand her the medical report.
She flips it open.
Isn't that weird?
It should have been gone like a week ago.
The incinerator is still on, and there's nobody here, and all the lights are on, and none of the doors are locked. He was a lonely, sad dude, but I mean, he wouldn't let people go run around and play in the incinerator when it was on.
I'm gonna escort you home, and I will be on the lookout for Mr. Dawson. I'm sure he's just away for a few days. I'm sure there's nothing happening. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with the body. It's probably just preserved. Perhaps he had a problem with the incinerator. Who knows? Okay, but you shouldn't be in here, and you shouldn't be bothering his office. You shouldn't be worrying yourself about this business. Let's go. And she tries to like herd you out of the office.
What are with the zombies in the backyard?
The what now?
I pull out the little sample and I'm like, look, at the red fabric, and I go, look, this is what his wife was wearing when she was buried, and it's in the backyard. She was buried in the cemetery. I've been to her grave, and we just found this just now, like, I don't know, 20 minutes ago, in the
Oh, wow.
backyard, in an open, like, freshly dug grave on the hill in the backyard.
And
All right.
and when we went into the house, there was
I just
alcohol
went up
everywhere.
there. I just went up there to look because it's a nice view, and Rachel and I used to go up there, and I hadn't been over in a
Okay.
while, and I felt
Yeah, but
bad because
Okay.
Mr. Dawson's lonely.
But there
I
was alcohol
understand.
everywhere in the
Care of
house,
him.
I
and it was
understand you're
empty.
upset.
But
Come on,
but
let's go.
but no,
Let's
no.
go.
He was drunk or something, and then there was alcohol all over the house, and it was all empty. And then when we came in, it wasn't empty.
Wait, what?
Shush, you don't know anything.
Let's go out to the squad car and let's go out and talk. Come on, let's vacate the
There's
premises.
freshly dug graves out there.
Oh, okay. Come on. Let's go. We're not going out there. We're gonna go to the front where my squad car is. Let's go.
Can we go through the house and not the office?
She leads you out of the office and through the laundry room, the utility room, and back in.
I'm
And
now
as
looking at this place as we
Yeah,
walk through.
probably at the
Okay.
Since
alcohol
you said
beds.
that.
as you walk through, there are no bottles anywhere.
Wait, where?
Instead, what happens is on the counters, you see the same dirty dishes like piled in the, at least what looks like the same dirty dishes piled in the sink. You also see a couple of like a tea kettle kind of thing sitting on the stove, which you don't remember seeing before. And you see these weird bundles of what look like maybe herbs or something. And none of the bottles, there are I take that back. There are 2 bottles of bourbon on the counter, but they're unopened. And the place is still dirty, it's still cluttery, and there's still dust, but there aren't any empty bottles around. And so Sheriff Evans
Bundles.
leads you out.
Wait,
Bundles
this
of-
looks really
Just wait,
different.
come on. This is his house. Let's go.
It
We
looks
don't
really different than when we were in
we
here.
don't.
Somebody
Okay.
must
Well,
have come
let's
in
go out.
here.
Come on.
Somebody has broken
on.
into this
Oh,
place.
okay. Yes, I know. It
No,
was you two. Let's
we
go.
didn't do anything here.
Come on. Come on. Let's go. Let's have a seat in the car. It's okay.
Somebody's hurting
Okay.
Mr. Dawson.
I need you both to roll me a sanity check.
I think I've passed one sanity check thus far.
Barely, I think,
Yes.
too.
You lose
Oh my
3. What is
goodness.
28.
Sabine's is 28? Okay.
Right. My best friend's gone nuts.
Get there.
By the way, did I recognize these bundles of herbs as we're walking by?
You can roll a botany. I think you have botany, right?
Yeah. Nope.
No, they are something you've never seen before. Plus,
I
you're
like
at a
that
distance,
less.
and they look like they're dried. So that's, you'd need to inspect them closer. But of course, Deputy Evans is like, pushing you out of the house. Okay. Sabine, you you now have a distinct phobia of liquor bottles. Anything having to do with liquor bottles is going to set you off.
Is it?
Okay.
Are we specifically talking liquor, like spirits, or does that include beer bottles, wine bottles, etc.?
Any kind of alcohol.
Okay.
Any kind of alcohol. If it's obviously alcohol, or if it looks like alcohol, so even like something like, a darker bottle that would normally be used to package alcohol, even if it was like root beer, it would still set you off because your perception is what does it.
Got it.
And when it sets you off, you will have a response, and when you have that response, I'm just telling you this for later purposes. You're going to roll a
Oh my god, I have $2.
D6 to find out what the effects are, if that gets triggered. Okay. So Deputy Evans leads you out, and she opens up the back of her squad car, and she sort of pushes you in and has you sit, if you willingly do that.
I mean, not shutting up, but yeah.
Yeah, I think we're both just like, I think it's almost like both of us are talking so much that it's just like not even words coming through
Okay.
anymore. It's just like, well, but then there was
Yeah.
this grave,
So
and you're like, but then
she
da-da-da-da.
pushes you in, and she shuts the door. She goes around to the front, and she hops in the car, and she starts driving. What are you saying while she's driving?
Where are
Are
we
you
going?
still describing everything that happened, or
Yeah, I'd be describing and stop going. Or where are we going?
we're gonna go to the cemetery?
What? Why?
I'm gonna show you that there are still active grave sites for Mr. Dawson's family. It's only a minute away. It's fine. She drives, and it's about 3 miles by car.
right.
It's not that far.
Okay.
So you get there, and she hops out. She opens one of the doors so that you can get out.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
She
I'll
walks.
follow because I have no idea where we're going.
She walks, and she says, "See, just right up here. There's the." And she pauses. Wait a minute. And she keeps walking, but now she's quiet. And she gets over to the cemetery yard where the graves used to be, as far as she knew. And you see that there are 2 gravestones there, but the gravestones are blank. They do not say, Amy
Yeah.
and Rachel.
Oh my god, why? What?
And roll a spot hidden.
Ooh.
I'm clearly looking around for the gravestones because they're supposed to say
Right, it makes sense
Rachel
that I would know
Dawson,
there's
Amy
something wrong, and
Dawson,
you
and
might not
clearly
yet.
we're
Yeah.
just not
Right.
there yet.
Yeah.
To Sabine, it looks like these. It looks like the ground has been disturbed.
I say they were right here, and look, the look at that. Look, the ground is. It's like somebody's.
No. I think look, the gravestones are blank. That means he probably just had them moved. It's fine. It's fine. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have brought you here. I should have checked first. There's that thing. You should never ask a question you don't know the answer to. So I apologize. Let's go back to the car. We'll talk about this, but I'm sure nothing's wrong. Okay.
Why would they be blank?
Can I poke the ground? Because I know that Sabine fell in the last grave on the hill. So if I poke it, will it like make a hole?
Yes, you can. So do you want to roll me a how
like,
about
Oh, teenagers.
an archaeology, or if you don't have that very good, you can just literally roll a strength check if you want to.
We'll just kick it really hard. We're trying to prove a point here. I should have just rolled the archaeology. That would have worked.
You kick the ground, and it's like you caused a sinkhole to open up, and all the dirt falls into the where the gravesite would have been dug, where the casket would be. and it just falls right down as though it was like a false top, and you just popped it open and it just fell right in. And Deputy Evans like goes, "Whoa," and she kind of steps back and she tries to pull the two of you back away from the opening.
That's
I will
not
let
supposed to
her.
happen.
I will let her pull me back away from this opening.
See, it's weird.
Yes, let's go back to the car. Let's go over here. There's obviously something wrong. I'm sure it's fine. It's probably just that we don't understand what's happening with these locations. Perhaps they're prepping them for a new interment. We don't know. Let's walk over here. There's an explanation. It's okay. Let's go over here. She tries to sort of herd you back to the
There's got to
car.
be an explanation. Was there anything that we saw in the
No,
hole that was
it
created?
was nope,
Just nothing. Like, how deep was it?
6 feet down.
Yeah, all right.
I mean, roughly, that's what
Yeah,
it looked like.
Yeah. Well, it occurs to me that if there is going to be a zombie apocalypse, I don't want to be in the graveyard. So, yeah, we'll go back to the car. The car's a fast getaway. Fast getaways are good.
But before we get into the car, I need you both to make a sanity roll.
R.I.P. Sabine.
It's gonna be like Night of the Living Dead. Sorry for the delay. I was trying to find a time period
Yes.
appropriate. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, period appropriate reference. Yes.
Yes. I was like Walking Dead, and I was like, that wasn't a thing in 1985.
Yeah. Then everybody be like, "What?"
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. So,
Oh, Sabine.
3
No, like,
points.
this.
That puts me at 25.
Put you at 25. I need you to roll me a
no.
D10.
Mhm.
Oh no. Well, meanwhile, I'm over here like
10.
this nice deputy is clearly got a nice explanation for me. There's got to be an explanation. There's something logical, and this is just a bunch of weird things all put together.
Depending on what this result is, I might be utterly convinced that she is part of whatever cult I have decided is raising my friend's body.
You
Or at least
uh
teleporting it.
you have been struck with an acute mania that causes you to have an irrational compulsion to lie. Everything that you say for the next 6 minutes in game has to be a lie. You have to lie. You are going to lie your way out of this. You
Mhm.
have to lie. Everything has to be exactly a lie, or you will get more manic and more manic and more manic.
Okay.
I'm so glad that I don't have knowledge of this in character. I'm like, okay, yeah, there's just an explanation. It'll be fine. The police will figure it out. That's their job is to figure it out.
So, Deputy Evans gets you back to the car and puts you into the back and hops in the front again and says, "Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you home, and then I'm going to have to go get the sheriff, and we'll maybe find out what's going on." So,
We can't go to my home.
I'm sorry. Why not?
Both of my parents are dead.
No, they're not. You can stay at my house, but
I'm really sorry to hear that. Okay. Well,
I think Uncle Joe killed them.
I'm sorry. Was this recent?
Whenever.
What is your address again?
I rattle off a different. I rattle off the borough's address.
Okay.
Because I've seen it written so many times.
you live in front of the funeral home.
Okay.
I live next door to you.
She says, "Oh, okay. Obviously there are some issues here, and I think I need to speak to your guardian. So let's go there first. And she drives over to the Burrows house.
This isn't where we live.
It's totally where I live.
Sabine, you live next door to me. We both live in front of Mr. Dawson's funeral home.
I've never lived there. I've never been to the funeral home.
Yes, you have. You were just there today.
Who are you talking about?
So
I'm not even your friend, Howard.
Okay, now it's all right. It's okay. Let's
You don't even know me, Howard.
let's just get this done with, okay?
Poor deputy.
So she pulls up to the house, and what you see is this old, dilapidated, very small sort of bungalow type house, but it is behind a 6-foot fence. But of course the fence is kind of dilapidated as well, partly falling over, and you can see through the front gate of it, which is a metal piece. You can see the front of the house.
I'm sorry, I was gonna fix the fence last week, but I didn't have a chance.
All of the landscaping is overgrown. Everything is very much in disrepair. And so the deputy gets out of the car, and then she opens the door, and she lets Sabine get out. She says, "What's your name again?"
Leia.
Sabine, what the hell are you doing?
And what's your name, young man?
I'm Howard, and
Han.
he's crazy.
His real name's Han.
My name is Howard.
All right. Why don't the both of you come out here? I'm getting tired of these hijinks. Come out. Come on. Let's go into the house.
Next time I get up to Sabine, I'm just gonna start shaking her. What is wrong with you?
Nothing. What's wrong with you?
So how are you getting in the house?
I hope this fence is locked.
The deputy walks up to the gate, and the gate is locked.
Good.
I say,
oh no.
Oh, Uncle Joe must have a lady friend over again.
Deputy Evans, this is not her house. Do you remember the medical file we showed you where it said he didn't burn? He didn't burn.
I wrote that, obviously. Please.
You did what?
She looks over and she says, "All right, I've had about enough of this. Where's the key to this gate?"
I don't know, because nobody lives here that's alive.
I think you two have been partaking in some recreational drugs, possibly. And if you don't settle down right now and start telling me the truth, I'm going to have to take you in. Get a key to this gate and let's open it up.
We can't get a key because nobody lives here. And I'm just going to walk off, fed up with somebody.
Wait a minute. Don't walk. Wait a minute. Get back over here.
I'm just going to walk back to the car and sit back in the car.
Tom's decided he's done rescuing me. What can I say? And then I turn around and start walking back as well.
The deputy walks over and shuts the door after you both get in the car. And then she goes over and she jumps the fence.
Oh God, she's gonna die!
You're gonna
get her killed.
There's nothing going on here.
It's now been 6 minutes, so you can quit lying.
I'm sure she's gonna die in there. And we can't get out of here.
Shake, 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 shake. Well, now we have to go save her butt because your butt couldn't stop lying.
I couldn't.
Well, then go get the fence open.
I didn't trust her.
Get the fence open.
I think I can't get out of the car. It doesn't open from the inside because it's a freaking cop car.
Well, then get through the driver's side. They never lock those.
Is there a cage in front of us, I assume?
Why don't you make me a luck roll?
Okay. I was like, somebody's never been in the back of a cop car, clearly.
Well, I thought maybe they didn't invent those until later.
Ooh, very lucky.
There is one, but it's not attached. It's like not attached correctly. So you're while you're trying to shake it, figure out how you might. It just comes off. Just
Got it. Okay. So,
Terrible security.
yeah, this is real stupid. Okay. Throw it behind us.
Good to know.
And then, just like crawl over and get out the front.
okay. Yep, you can do that.
In the front of the car,
Oh no.
is there anything interesting in the front of this cop car and or in the glove compartment, etc.?
Well, so remember it's 1985, so there's not like a little GPS or anything like they have nowadays, right? So
Sure.
it's very sort of plain kind of. There is a dispatch radio, okay, and if you want to open the glove box and roll me a spot hidden.
Yeah.
Wait, you said there was a dispatch radio.
Yes, there is.
Okay, well, I'm blind when I look through
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so you just see a bunch of papers and like the owner's manual to the type of car and all that. There's nothing interesting in there.
Do I know how to work the dispatch radio? Like, if I push the button?
You could, let me see. Probably. Why don't you roll me a...
Man, I gotta say, cell phones are really nice for emergencies.
Yeah, aren't you the character with like physics or something? Is that
No,
you?
that's me.
Sabine.
I'm physics and
Okay.
astronomy, but
Yeah,
and mathematics. I could.
If it's not living, I don't know it.
that's right.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask me, I could do it. So, or I could try. Whatever.
Yeah, Sabine could probably make it work if you wanted to.
Sabine, we have to get backup. If you can't get the fence open, then she's gonna die in the middle of nowhere.
Okay. Do you want me to roll physics then?
No, I'll assume that you have had a little bit of experience with some basic electronics just because you have a physics background. So
Okay.
you can make it work.
Okay.
You can sweep the channels and figure out which one.
Before I do anything that like other people will know about on the radio, so I like kind of look at it, see what it's about, kind of figure it out. But before I do anything, are the keys still in the ignition?
They are.
I swear to God, if you steal this car, Sabine.
Okay, that's good to know. I might just grab the keys. I don't think I start the car just yet. Me and my 20% drive auto.
Why don't you make me a sanity check?
Yeah, that's a really good point. No.
I feel like I should roll sanity because she's making me lose my damn mind.
Sabine starts the car.
You ready for this? Do I lose any? Oh, am I losing anything or no?
You're not losing any sanity, but you are you start
just
the car.
seeing if I could make the a decent decision. Okay.
I turn the car off.
I say, no, before I say, I bet we could bring the fence down.
We are getting backup, and if they tell us to bring the fence down, we will bring the fence down. I don't want to accidentally hit the cop.
She's probably dying and being resurrected right now.
I'd like to slap Sabine across the face because she's obviously lost it.
If you'd like to do that, you have to make a brawling check.
I don't even know how to do that.
So it's a skill. It's a fight brawling, and
brawl.
Sabine also has to make one, and it's an opposed check. So it's if one of you succeeds and the other doesn't, then. Yeah.
I think I scratch you.
She dodges. She might scratch you back.
Yeah, I scratch you pretty hard, I think.
So, what are you gonna do? You're sitting in the front of a police car.
I want to turn the car off again.
Hold on. I need to. Yeah, no, I drive it right into the fence.
Oh no. You're reaching over to turn the car off, and she
guns it.
Gasses it.
I'm pretty sure I know which one is the gas.
You pull the keys
Do you want me
out.
to roll drive to see?
Nope.
Okay.
No, no. No,
I'm just-
no. You pulled Howard pulls the keys out. Sabine has already gunned it into the fence and knocked down part of the fence and messed up the front of the cop car as well. So you knocked the fence down.
What do I see beyond the fence?
Wait,
A
how
lot
do
of
I roll the windows
overgrowth.
down? Is it one of the crank windows, or do I push
Yeah.
a button?
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah, they don't
cranky.
have the button till the 90s.
I'd
Yeah.
like to crank the window down. She's taking me hostage! Save me!
I respond with some rescue, Han.
As you're yelling, Deputy Evans runs out of the front door of the house, and she's going, "What are you doing? What are you doing? You wrecked
Help
my
me!"
car!"
We thought you were dying and being resurrected.
And
You
just
thought
then-
she was dying.
Another sheriff's car pulls up, and out of it gets the sheriff.
Oh, thank God!
And the sheriff looks like he's tall. He's probably 6'2". He's got a tan sheriff's uniform on. He's got a big, giant, bushy 1970s mustache, and he's a little bit balding on top, but he doesn't realize it yet. And he walks over, and he's got a cigar in his mouth. And he walks over to the passenger side of the cop car, and he says, "You mind telling me just what you two think you're doing?"
I just want to go home.
We were
She's gone
saving
nuts.
her. We were saving her from the death people.
The death people.
The
The ones
what?
that got Mr. Dawson.
He's missing.
And there's a body that won't burn.
And then there's an empty grave in the graveyard, and there's
And there's
something-
a weird path behind this house that leads to a weird place where people do weird things.
All right,
there's
that's
a
enough.
what?
That's enough. I think you've been smoking a little bit too much hash.
If I had,
All
I'd be
right.
happier. Can I go home yet?
He gets out. He opens up the door and he grabs Howard by the arm and he says, "Come on, you're coming with me."
Oh, thank God.
He moves you over. He says, "You're a minor, so I'm not going to put you under arrest, but you have the right to remain silent. And as soon as your parents get home, I'm going to take you home and we're going to have a good talking." And he opens up the back of the car. And he's waiting for you to get in.
Oh, thank God. Escape Sabine. I scramble in the back and close the door.
Okay, so currently the situation is that
Oh, no.
the
Evans
sheriff
is walking
outside the
around.
car. I'm in the driver's seat with
Right.
the car on.
The deputy, no, because Howard pulled the keys out. That's why.
Oh, that's right.
After it ran into the-
Okay.
So the deputy is walking around to your side of the car, and the sheriff has just pulled Howard out and put Howard in the back of his car.
Mm-hmm.
Deputy
What?
Evans says, "What are you doing?
I
I
thought you were
can't
dying.
believe this. Get out of the car." She opens the door.
Do
I
I
thought they were
have
gonna
the
kill
keys?
you.
Do you what?
Do I have the keys, or did they fall out in the car?
They're in your hand.
I'll give them to the sheriff as he's taking me out.
He says, "Were you driving?
From the passenger seat.
Well, how did you get the keys?"
Because this nutter wanted to bust in the fence and I didn't want her to.
All right.
Some friend you are, Howard.
He
You were
he
gonna
walks
kill
back
her.
over. He gives the keys back to Deputy Evans, and he says, "Are you going to come nicely, or do I have to take extreme measures?"
Does Deputy Evans look and sound the same as before? To me, does she look and sound the same? Which I am open to that not being the same answer that you would give Howard.
Roll a. Oh boy.
Dear Diary, when I move to a new town, I need to carefully select my friends.
Uh, that is a good. Oh, here's one. Roll a psychology check for me.
Okay, I'm not terrible at that. Well, I'm terrible there.
You're terrible at that.
She looks scared and like she's hiding something.
I go, what did you see in there? What happened in there?
That's never mind. Let's go.
Did they try to
Just
kill you? Did they try to kill you
let's
and revive you, just like
let's
Amy
go
and
over
Rachel?
here. I think you've
Or Rachel Mrs.
had
Dawson?
enough. You've had enough. And the
Something
sheriff
happened to
says,
you in there.
Did you find any alcohol or drugs on them?" And Evans says, "Well, I didn't really check." And she starts trying to explain what happened. Uh, and the sheriff is not happy about it. And he kind of pulls her away so that you can't hear everything they're saying. He pulls her a few steps away. So here's the scene. They're about maybe 7 to 10 feet away. He's talking to the deputy. Sabine is now standing outside of the deputy's car.
Oh, I don't like this.
And Howard is in the back seat of the sheriff's car, but he didn't shut the door on you, so you could actually get out as well.
Oh no, I'm staying here where it's safe.
I run into the house. We're never gonna find out what's happening in this town. We're just gonna get arrested.
You're going to get arrested.
Is Howard staying in the car?
I'm going to at least stick my head out. What are you doing?
Shh, Howard, don't you want to know what's happening?
That gets the attention of the sheriff and the deputy, and they see and they go, "Oh!" and they start trying to run after you. You do make it into the house, and what you see is a living room, and there are stacks and stacks of books all over the living room, and they are of various different topics: astronomy, mythology, astrology, biology, paranormal studies, lots of different books, and they appear to be in stacks of very specific size and placed in a very specific manner. And you smell a really horrible smell coming from the kitchen. And when you look over and you see on the kitchen counter that there is first an old book that is wide open, although you're far enough away that you can't see what it is. And then you see that there is a kettle there, like as if you were going to make tea, and there are these bundles of different herbs and a closed bottle of brandy.
There it is.
God,
which means you have to roll me a d6.
D6. Yep.
at least I got the attention of the cops before she went missing.
You
It was
are
nice knowing you.
stricken with severe paranoia.
Oh, because that wasn't already manifested.
Except your paranoia is of anyone that you have seen in the past 3 days. So when the cops run in after you and ask you what the hell you think you're doing running into this house, you are afraid of them and highly paranoid about what they are going to do to
Got
you.
it. Did I get any chance to see the arrangement of the books? Like any chance to like absorb what that like what it might be as a symbol or something? If the answer is no, that's fine. I just figured I'd ask.
You can roll a library use check
Okay.
just to see if you immediately recognize any kind of patterning.
Nope.
Nice.
You notice that the books, while they look like they're haphazardly put around, and while they look like they're in the right size piles or specific size piles, you actually notice a pattern to the topics in each of the piles. So obviously there's something going on. You don't have enough time to look at it and figure out what the pattern is. You do also notice that there is a book that has a spine on it that looks like it's almost glowing, the spine. It must be stamped in something metal that has light shining off of it or something. But it looked like it was glowing. And here's the name of the book. It says The Book of Blindness and Light. Blindness and Light. And then at that point, you're paranoid, and the two sheriffs come running in. What do you think you're doing?
Hold on, let me write that in the book.
Yeah.
Light. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if it would even be the. I would imagine that Sibian prefers the Library of Congress system over the Dewey Decimal system. Dewey Decimal is very pedestrian. Anyway. And as somebody who actually worked in a college library for 2 years, I still am pretty good with the Library of Congress system. P is where you find fiction. Fun fact. Most of it.
I've never been more proud to know a complete stranger now.
Okay, so let's see. I'm paranoid. Is there like a back door?
Yeah, I mean, you see there's a back door entrance that's away from them. I mean, you don't actually know where that door will go to. I mean, it's not obviously a back door, but it is a door.
I say, "Get away from me, you murderers!" And I run out the door.
Okay. You go out the door, and it leads to a small deck, and the deck is only about 3 feet wide, and then that goes right into the forest.
Really wishing I'd brought my bicycle on this adventure. Okay.
Do I hear the scream of "Don't get near me, you murderers"?
Yep.
I just stand up out of the copper. Oh!
Do you stay out there though?
Well, the real question is, do you run into the forest?
Me?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to run away from them, and if I can run away from them and follow the map that I remember, I'm gonna try and do that.
Yeah, you can. She takes off after you. He turns around, doesn't take off after you. So you're running in the forest. What you see, Howard, is the sheriff runs out of the house, runs down the steps from the house, comes around the deputy's car, pushes closed the door that's next to you that was open, hops in his car, throws it in reverse, backs up, and goes and drives. And where he drives is down to the old mine road, which will take him through the forest, which you know about that. You didn't actually see the map. Did Howard see the map that Sabine
I
had?
just learned about that there's a path behind.
I think I folded it up and threw it in my pocket because I think you were on the phone with emergency at that point. Yeah.
I don't even think I got out of this cop car, so I'm like, where are we going?
Yeah, you're in the car. Yes, the sheriff says, "Oh, she ran out the back. What have you been smoking?"
I think she'd be chiller if she did.
He doesn't say anything. He doesn't actually laugh like I just did. He just, you youngins and your drugs. I don't understand what's going on nowadays. Keep in mind, this was the guy that was drunk at the bowling alley last night, right?
Yeah. I wasn't on drugs before, but I think this is how people get started.
Uh, you want to tell me what's really going on here?
Okay, so Mr. Dawson's been missing for the last 3 days. We live across the street from him. So we wanted to check on our neighbor because it's really
Wait, you
weird.
live across the street. I thought Deputy Evans said one of you lived here.
That's because the weirdo that ran off into the woods said we lived here.
This is all a lie? Oh, for
Look.
Christ's sake.
I know, right?
He reaches for his dispatch audio and he says a bunch of things into it, like, where he's going, turning down my old mine road, and Deputy Evans gave chase on foot, that kind of thing.
So we
He's
were
not
looking
calling
for
for
our
backup.
neighbor.
He's just telling them where he is.
So we looked for our neighbor. He wasn't in the house. The door to his house was open, so we thought maybe he was hurt and fell down and needed like emergency assistance. So I went into his office to go use the phone, and while we were there, there's this guy's name, Burroughs, written all over saying he won't burn, he won't burn.
Wait, what guy? What guy?
The guy who's in the incinerator room, because apparently that one doesn't have a phone.
What'd you say his name was? Burroughs.
What was the name, like the full name of that was on the medical file?
Henry Burroughs.
Okay.
He's
Henry blank Burroughs, blah blah blah. There was only wounds on the hands, yada yada yada.
Wait. You saw Henry Burroughs?
Yeah, that's why it was weird, because he should have been gone. It's been over a week. He didn't smell funny.
Wait, how did you know all this?
Because I called the cops from the office room.
And the cops told you that Burroughs should have been incinerated by now?
Well, no, but it makes sense, because why would you keep a body around in the middle of the heat?
Well,
And we still don't know where our neighbor is.
I found that Burroughs body. Is that where your friend is going?
Oh God, I hope not.
I know where that's at. And he sort of speeds up a little bit, and then he turns off down a side road that goes deep into the forest.
I would like to put my seatbelt on.
You can.
Yeah, I guess. 90s is when seatbelt became like public health law. So yeah, you very well might not have been wearing it.
Yeah, it was like, okay, well, we're just going. Well, I think we're going to run into something now, and now I need the seatbelt. I'm like, well, this is clearly just this dude's back. What do you mean we found the body? All right, this is bad now.
He drives for a couple more minutes and then he stops. And he sort of looks back over his shoulder. He says, "Do you want to get out?"
I don't want to die.
In the middle of the forest?
I'll protect you.
I mean, I guess so.
Well, I'll tell you what, I really want you to get out, because the last time you were left in a police car, it got stolen.
Yeah, okay. I'm getting out.
All right. So he
Stolen for
opens the
like
door.
10 feet, technically.
He
Because I
opens the
took
door
the
for you.
keys from you.
He calls on his radio to try to find out where Evans is, and she indicates that she's in hot pursuit still and that they're almost at Beggar's Rest.
Oh, thank God she's not dead yet.
So Sabine, you're running and running and running, and it feels like you are compelled. I mean, you've been running for like 10 or 15 minutes by now.
Mhm.
You're no longer paranoid of the person following you, because you know that's the deputy, but you can't figure out why she's following you, because who cares? Like, why do they care what you're doing? And you actually have an overwhelming sense of peace, and you
Mhm.
feel like you're being called in a certain direction.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna follow that.
Yeah, and you're gonna
Follow
make a
that till my
sanity check.
character dies.
Yeah,
Yes.
make a sanity check for me.
Well, that won't take too long.
Yeah, fail.
Yeah.
I'm just like cheering on these sanity fails at this point.
I mean, at this point, you might as well.
it's more fun.
Yeah. Oh, 6 points.
Oh, no.
I'm at 19.
I swear this used to be a D3.
Yeah, it was.
The stakes get higher, it seems.
Yeah. So pretty soon, you feel like you're very close to the place where you need to be. And you come to the edge of a clearing. And the clearing is a circular area, probably 10 feet in diameter.
Okay.
And all the trees in that area have been cut and the stumps were removed. And everything that has tried to grow into that area has either been chopped off or it has died. And it's like has withered to the ground.
Mhm.
And you feel like you need to go into the middle of that area. And right as you're coming up to the edge of it, you hear the sheriff's voice say, "Hold on. Stop now. It's okay. We're going to protect you from this. Let's go." And then you hear Evans say, "I don't think she can hear you." And Howard, you see the two deputies. They're on either side of Sabine, and Sabine looks like she's about to walk into this clearing. And the two deputies on either side are sort of reaching out for her, and she's about to take a step forward. What are you going to do?
Is there anything on the ground near me?
Twigs, rocks, sticks, branches, leaves. It's literally the middle of a forest other than the clearing that's right there. It's pretty dense.
I'd like to chuck something at her head. If she's not gonna listen, then maybe we should just knock her out.
I don't know if this is opposed or not, but I don't think she's like it's not even on her radar. So I don't think dodge would be even relevant for me at this point.
Yeah, so you're going to do a dodge, but you're going to take a pretty heavy penalty. So I'm still going to have you roll. And
Okay.
then Howard will roll a throw check, I guess? Yeah, throw.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
I
All
probably
right.
take my step forward into the thing that you throw because you led me properly with your throw. Well, maybe not.
Wow, I failed so hard at that.
You failed really hard.
Yeah, you are no Tom Brady, it turns out.
Roll me a luck check, Howard.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, I know what this is for and I don't like it. Oh, thank God I did not
Oh, it
go
was
with
for
the
Howard, not me. Sorry.
I was gonna be very sad if that happened.
The rock goes right in front of the sheriff's nose. It like skins his nose as it goes by. If you had failed that luck check, you would have beamed him in the head. It skins his nose as it goes by. But it causes him to turn because he thought you were on his side. Causes him to turn, and because he turns and takes his attention off of Sabine can step into the area. You see Sabine shimmer and sort of get filled with this sort of golden light and disappear. And I need you to make a sanity check.
Damn right.
Before or after I start screaming.
Wow.
How is your sanity still at 65?
Because she hasn't failed a single roll.
Jeez.
I don't know.
Because Howard is the science. Science.
So am I.
Freaking Aurora Borealis up in this shit.
Yeah, you're more like, well, there's cults. There's weird stuff that happens. I don't know what you think about this, but there must be some kind of explanation. Like this must be a hoax. There must be something going on. But when you investigate, well, I mean, if you walk up to the edge, so right now, by the way, Deputy Evans and the sheriff are like, they're actually, let me find out how they are.
Meanwhile, I'm going, I knew I should have just taken the freaking 1 week of baseball.
Yeah. 1 week of baseball. Yeah, they both fail. They sort of Evans goes over to the sheriff, and she's trying to see if he's hurt, and they're both kind of stunned almost. They're like they're not moving very fast anymore, and they're sort of like, I think they're just trying to figure out what happened and try to like they're kind of thinking this is that they're not really sure what's going on. They don't even really notice you anymore. That's how they're like sort of wiping the blood off of his nose and like looking at the blood and looking at the trees and doing whatever. And if you walk up to the clearing, you see that there is nothing in the clearing. There's no body, there's no Sabine, there's nothing.
What?
So I'll leave that there for a second, and we've got about 5 minutes left. So Sabine, let me tell you what you see. You see a humongous glowing white tower form in front of you as you step into the clearing.
Yeah, that
And
seems totally normal.
there's a door open and about 5 steps up to it, and you have an overwhelming sense of, yes, come in, you're welcome here. And as you walk up the stairs, you get up right to the top, and you see a vast desert of black sand with white mountains in the background. And as you're standing there trying to figure out what's happening, a semi-translucent orb appears in front of you, and it has these sort of small wiggling tentacles coming out of the sides of it a little bit, and they sort of curve and curl towards you and almost like move around and like almost like they're sensing you or something. And you hear in your head a voice that says, "What do you desire?"
I respond saying, I want to know what's really going on. And her intent is not just like what's happening in this exact second, but just like
Yeah.
what, like a
Uh,
broader sense as well.
Like explain today or
right. You
Explain like all the things
yourself-
she's always been curious about,
you feel
Mm.
yourself being pulled into, like almost like your energy is being sucked out and pulled into the orb. And as it goes into the orb, you feel like you are flying through the universe. And you start seeing and understanding things that you have never seen and understood before. All the laws of physics, all the laws of nature, all the laws of creation, all the laws of destruction, everything. But the problem is that is too much
Mhm.
knowledge for a mortal mind. And you go permanently insane.
Yeah.
As Howard is standing there, but even though you're, by the way, Sabine, even though you're permanently insane, you know that for the most fleeting of moments, you knew the answer to every question that could ever be asked, or that you've ever wondered,
Yeah.
or that could ever be conceived of.
Yeah.
But it was too much for your brain.
Yeah.
As Howard is standing there just looking at the clearing, you see Sabine appear, and she's just laying on the ground right in the center. Her head is actually positioned right in the center of the clearing, and her eyes are open and she's looking up into the sky.
What the heck?
She doesn't respond. She's catatonic. You, by the way, have not entered the clearing. You're still standing outside.
Oi, cops, what are you doing?
So many good questions.
Do you want to try to snap them out of it? You can try to slap them or something, or you could throw a rock.
Are they just like standing? Like, what are they doing? Are they just
They're
standing?
they're actually like they're like trying to wipe each other off, and like his nose is bleeding, and like they're almost moving in slow motion. It's kind of an odd thing, but they're obviously not
I'm gonna go up to them and
in the
go,
moment.
hey.
Roll me an intimidate check.
Yes, intimidate the cop. This will be great. Super great.
You actually
Very-
rolled pretty well, just not well enough.
Yeah.
I'm just a 15-year-old trying to, get cop
Yeah.
attention.
The sheriff looks over and he says, "Oh, are you still here? Too much partying in the woods. Why don't you get yourself home? We'll deal with this. It's fine. It's okay."
What happened to her?
He turns back to Deputy Evans, and they're kind of like giving each other googly eyes now.
Ugh, useless adults. I guess I'll go over and drag Sabine out of the stupid weirdo dead circle.
Oh, are you gonna walk into the circle?
Yeah, because clearly there's just something
Okay.
weird.
As you walk into the circle, you see form in front of you. Sabine's body is gone. You see a tower made of white light, and a door it opens, and there are 5 steps up, and you hear a beckoning thought. Oh, I should go in there. It's very welcoming.
I mean, there's nowhere else to go. I guess we go in.
You go in, you walk up the stairs, you get to the top. You see a vast desert of black sand with some very white mountains in the background. And as you're standing there gazing at it, you see a small semi-translucent orb float in front of your face, and it has these tentacles, and they come out, and they're sort of moving around as though they are sensing your presence. And you hear the question, "What is that you desire?"
So I'm torn between what just happened in the last week and what the hell's wrong with Sabine and where did she go? So we'll go roll 1d2. All right, I guess we're going with what happened in the last week with Mr. Burroughs and Mr. Dawson and what?
You see the tentacles that are out. You see that the tip of one of them turns into the shape of like the head of Mr. Burroughs, and then you see another one that looks like Mr. Dawson, and you actually see 2 of them that look like the pictures of the women that you saw in the pictures at the house. And they're sort of moving around, and they have different facial expressions on, almost like they're feeling different things. And the orb sort of impresses upon your mind, Mr. Burroughs came here. He was old and sick and brittle, and he asked for his greatest desire, which was to be whole, and for a body that was untouchable by time or the elements. And so he got his wish. And Dawson was here as well, and he asked for the thing that he most desired in the world. He wanted for his children and his wife to be back with him. He wanted them to live again, and so he got what he desired. You see that when the orb is, it's not really talking because it doesn't have a mouth, but
Yeah.
when it's presenting this information to you, you see the faces of the people that he's talking about change, and they look like they're almost in pain as he's describing what happened. He has been reunited with his loved ones, and that was his greatest wish. And Sabine, you see a tentacle come out, and you see Sabine and her face there. Sabine wanted to know everything, all of the mysteries in existence.
Damn it, I should have asked for that.
Your wish can still be granted.
Well, just so when it said that Mr. Burroughs wanted a body that was untouchable by time and space,
Time and the elements, yes.
time and the elements. Oh yeah. Oh,
Such as fire.
such as fire. So we know what happened to him. Clearly, the Mrs. and Rachel Dawson both are risen from the dead, or at least moving
They-
now and no longer
They
in graves.
live again.
They live again.
Mhm.
We still don't know what happened to Mr. Dawson, but he's undoubtedly with them somewhere.
Hmm.
But every time the orb makes me know this, they're clearly in pain. Or at least making little faces of pain.
Yeah, I mean, pain and torment doesn't necessarily mean physical pain, right?
Yeah. Not good faces.
Right. They don't look happy.
Well, just fix it. Undo it. Go back to
Your wish is my command.
Oh
basically
no.
like, go back to whatever.
At that
before.
moment, you wake up in bed the same way that you did this morning.
Oh no.
Are you gonna live
And
out
that's-
Groundhog Day now?
I think
That's
so.
where we'll end the session. You wanted it to be fixed. It's fixed. You don't know anything that has been going on.
Well, that went about how I would expect a Call of Cthulhu game to go.
Yeah.
Except I need one final sanity roll from you, from Howard.
The one who's not completely insane.
How?
Jeez.
How did you do this every single time?
Because I'm
lose the
clearly
whole point
just
of sanity.
tripping balls. I've just had weird dreams for my entire life.
Yes, when you wake up, you feel like that entire thing was absolutely, positively, none of it happened. That was the strangest dream you have ever had. It felt so real and just amazing. Like you could write a book. You could probably be a best-selling author writing a book about that dream you just had.
So
I'm sure that won't be weird then if it happens again. Like, wait, I swear I heard you did this.
So then the question is, what does he think is happening with Sabine and the rest and Mr. Dawson?
He thinks it was all a dream.
So do they exist? Like, is he friends with Sabine? Like, that's what I'm wondering is
Yeah.
So like they're still around. They're still like.
So Sabine wakes up that morning, same as always.
Oh, okay.
Right?
And then, hey, it's weird that.
Yeah, Howard wished for it to be fixed. And fixed means turn it back to a time when I didn't know any of this was happening. At least that's how the orb
took it.
Okay.
took it.
Okay.
So now, in about an hour, Sabine is going to get a call from her friend who was at the library. And when they're at the library, their buddy came in who happened to be working at the Roselawn Bowl last night and heard the sheriff talking about something.
Got it. Okay.
Right? And
Mhm.
and then you're going to go over to Howard and say, hey, Howard, guess what I heard about? And Howard's going to say, yeah, I had this really weird dream. This sounds so familiar. But by then, Howard can't really remember all the details of it.
Oh, God. That's like the worst.
Good job, Howard.
Way to go, Howard.
Dang it, Howard.
That was excellent. You guys so fixed things for me because when you ran off, when you ran into the house, because I was like, okay, well, am I going to arrest them? That's how this is going to end? Is we're going to get arrested and nobody's going to know what happened? No, you run off. You run the car into the gate and then you run off. And then I got to get I gotta get Howard over there, so I have to have the sheriff go drive the car. But then we're there, and you step into the clearing, and
Oh,
there you go.
yeah.
I mean, it's like,
I mean, her sanity at the end there was 19 out
oh
of
yeah,
99.
Oh,
Like,
God.
there was no chance she was saying no to the happy
yeah,
beckoning whatever
and it
thing.
was
Like,
so,
and she's
it was
curious.
so
She's
easy.
naturally
Yeah,
curious. She believes
Yeah.
right.
science can't explain
Yeah,
everything. She believes there are cults around.
yeah,
Like, somebody offers
yeah,
her the chance to know everything. Like,
yeah,
she's gonna ask for it.
right.
She's 15. Everything's a
Yeah,
mystery.
yeah,
The
and
real
for a
question is,
fleeting moment, that was it. And then Howard Pye, you pulled it right back around, because if you could have wished for anything, and I would have had to adjudicate, like, it's not written, how do I deal with the wishes, right? Like, or the desires. You made it perfect. You're like, oh, fix it all. Okay, perfect way to round it up. We're done.
So my number one question is, was there actually a cult in this town that like summoned this entity?
or was it
Do you,
always here?
do you want me to tell you the secrets? I mean, it's a one shot. I can tell you the secret. I don't care about telling you the secrets.
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean, yeah, I
so
want to know. I want to know.
so Mr. Dawson indeed was grieving and wanted to have his wife and children back, his wife and child back.
Mhm.
Burroughs um, he was afraid of death. He had been married as well, but his wife had died many years previous, and he was sort of a
Hmm.
hermit. But he was
Okay.
afraid of dying himself. He didn't want to die. And when he would used to take long hikes around the forest, and when he came
Hmm.
across this area where he felt, and that was
Mm.
his journal that you were reading, right? So he came
Yeah,
across this area where he felt a presence, and he felt that presence was telling him, I can help you, come where I am, and so he did that. And when he made his wish was to have a body that was impenetrable to the elements and to time. He wanted to stop aging, and he wanted to not be able to be injured. But that's not what he wished for. He wished for, an immortal body that
yeah,
can't be, or a body that can't be
Yeah.
damaged by these items that he was thinking of. So that's exactly what he got. But when he did that, the entity that gave him that wish took his soul, because he didn't say, I want to also remain in my body and protect my soul and do all those things. So he made that wish, and his body was found in the forest unclothed, but with no damage.
yeah,
And he had found in his readings and whatnot how to do the bundles with the herbs and stuff. He was making a cleansing tea, and like he had all these things he was doing because he was sure that it would work, and it did. But his wish was an imperfect wish, and it was granted imperfectly, and so it means his body died.
So,
But
got it.
then the sheriff found him and couldn't see any foul play, any evidence of
yeah.
foul play, so
So he
he
turns
just
it
took
over
the
for an
body.
autopsy. Yeah,
Right. And he said,
Yeah.
"Oh, I know Henry Burroughs. He's a hermit. He probably just died. I don't know why he's naked out here, but whatever.
He's a
I'm gonna
hermit.
take, yeah, he's a hermit. Maybe he went crazy. Maybe he got high and went running around naked and then had a heart attack, right? Like I'm gonna take him to the funeral home."
Maybe
So
this
he
is just
takes
what he
him.
does every day. Who knows?
Exactly. Yeah, maybe, right? Hey, who knows? So
like I'm
they
glad I wasn't out here some other time when he was out here
right,
naked.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. So
nudist forest back here.
he goes and he takes the body to Dawson, who is, an alcoholic, and who's probably not in his right mind anyway, because he's in so much grief and alcohol. And so he goes and he tries to do his job. He can't cut the body and do an autopsy, so he can't determine
Oh.
the time of death or the cause of death. He can't figure out what's going on, but he finds the journal, and he finds a map, and he finds these different things.
And his
And
address.
right, and so he can't burn the body, so he freaks out. He starts losing his sanity, which was already very low anyway, and he goes over to Burroughs's house, and he finds the ritual, and he figures out how to do everything, and he goes out and he wishes for his wife and daughter to
Yeah,
live again. But he didn't say he wants them alive and with him. He says he wants them to live again.
yeah.
So he was then visited by his undead zombie wife and daughter. He goes crazy all the way. Who knows what happened to him? He's out wandering around.
What happened with
It's
his house?
It was in such disrepair, but the psychic energy that was trying to keep his will intact
Mm.
was making you see different aspects of his descent into madness.
mm,
So part of that was your own sanity was right? Even though Howard was purely on a, "No, no, no, I'm not insane. This is full on, there's something here and it's
There was
explainable, but I just don't know what it is."
it was just that strong that it was starting
It was
to
just that
affect
strong. Because, the wife and
Gohan.
daughter, when they were raised right out in the backyard, right? Because he had buried them there. So,
At some point else when his sanity
right.
was lower and was
Right, when his
probably
sanity
drunk.
was actually intact, he did the
Well,
if you had looked further, you would have seen the paperwork where he
okay,
actually
he did move them.
yeah, but in the graveyard, they're not supposed to have just holes, so that was weird, right? So there's just a lot of things wrong.
Man, that was fun. I liked that a lot.
Yeah,
And I loved having it be like teenagers because I feel like,
Yeah,
part of my job was to like be a dumb teenager. And like
right.
in horror movies, dumb teenagers like
do the
walk
dumb
through
thing.
crime scenes without fully
Exactly,
investigating. Like
exactly, that's right.
whereas like in a D&D game, my character might like go through
Mhm.
every single cabinet and all of,
Right.
like it
Yep,
was
yep.
that decision of like, do I look further in this room or do I go on to the
Mhm.
next room or do I retreat? And like thinking about that in the way of like this character, this teenager, is really different than in maybe another
Right.
game. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
it was
like,
fun.
well, I've run out of options. I need an adult because otherwise I am going to be so dead. My
Yeah.
mom is going to kill me.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, like, it was kind of fun making the teen characters because, of course, you have low skills. So basically, the game is going to run on what are you doing, and let's react to it, right? It's not about, oh, I'm playing the archaeology professor, so I'm gonna be able to answer every question about archaeology. It's more like you guys are 15-year-old.
And you're
You,
not
you
good at anything.
you're not good at anything, and
Yeah.
I don't expect you to be, right? So
Yeah,
like,
the things we're good at
yeah,
is more like unlocking more content,
hmm
like more
right,
hints or clues or whatever, rather
yeah,
than actually solving
Then do
anything.
right,
anything with said
Yeah.
content.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
right, yeah, yeah,
Also, since we were 15, it was like, all right, driver's permit. So we clearly only know how to make it go, make it stop, and make it
right.
turn on.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Well, and my
exactly.
drive was garbage. It was like 20.
Oh, was
Yeah, I clearly have not done driver's ed.
you
Yeah,
you
yeah,
hadn't finished that class
Yeah,
yet.
right.
I had a 20 in drive
Neither
auto.
did I.
Yeah,
I also had a 20.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think
Neither of us
that's the
have a
base.
permit.
That's the baseline. You didn't put any points into it.
Yeah.
You've just seen it
So
like
yeah,
on video. It's got to do something with this.
yeah. So also the 1985 time period, I wanted like no cell phones,
Yeah.
no computer,
Mhm.
because the go-to is okay. I'm gonna look on Google and I'm gonna find out what's
Yeah.
happening. And that's one of the hard things about running like a modern Cthulhu scenario is, well, if
Just
everybody can just hop online, I mean, at some point you have to go investigate on your own, but
Mhm.
mhm.
like, to cut that all short of, okay, you go to the library and you hop on go upstairs to your room and you hop on the computer, like that's boring. Like, let's do something different, right? So,
Yeah.
And you
yeah,
can only solve that in so many ways, like
yeah,
have the power be cut off to the whole area, or
right.
an EMP takes out every single electronic, even
Yeah,
if there
yeah.
is
And
power.
then it's cheating, right? Then it's like, okay, well, I'm having this game in a time period where this technology exists, but I'm not going to let you use it. Like that's not,
Then why
it's
does
sort
it
of like,
exist?
yeah, it's sort of like, well, okay, I have this ninth level wizard, but I'm not going to let you cast your spells at that high level, right? I'm gonna bar you from using like pass wall and portal and gate and all that
Here,
stuff.
you can have cantrips in level 1.
Right, exactly. So like then why are we running this game at such a high level, right? And so it's the same thing about, that's why most scenarios for Call of Cthulhu are like in the 20s and 30s
Mm,
because
Mhm.
that way it's a very sort of antiquated, time period. So none of the technology is there. I mean, you can barely get a car or a train. So,
mhm.
Yeah.
yeah. So, in any case, well, thank you both for playing. I had a ton of fun.
Yeah,
This
this
was
was
a lot of
great.
fun. Um, I don't know. Let's see. I guess we have to
We should
ping.
probably talk about the donation thing, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about
Yeah,
it.
I'm trying to
So,
see if
So
Ciela's online.
the
yeah.
link is up in the chat right now. So if you're on the Twitch chat, it's extra-life.org/team and some numbers. And it looks like that goes to our goal. Judging by what it says, it looks like we're at 105 out of 420. So let's try and
Okay.
get it to that 420 so that we can, prove the sheriff right that we're all just doing drugs. Um,
Also, thank you then to whoever donated the $15 or the several
Yeah.
people, since I know we started at 90.
We started at 90, yeah. So I don't know.
Excellent.
I'm not the one streaming, so I don't
I don't
have
know
the
if we got notifications for it at
notifications
all.
up. Zio would be the one.
If Slobs or OBS had anything on there, but
Yeah.
yeah, thanks to anybody who donated. I'll be putting in a donation in a second now that I'm done. But it's for the Children's Miracle Network, which I don't know. Are you familiar with that one? With the Children's Miracle Network?
Why don't you give
I know that it is a charity that supports children's hospitals, sort of across the U.S. And it looks like this one is Stollery's, which I'm not particularly familiar
I
with.
am here if you guys want me to
Yep.
show.
Hey,
Yeah. Do you want to pimp some?
Chill away.
yeah,
Yeah. Pimp some good info.
Please jump on in. We're
Okay.
sort of
I,
vamping.
I'm not very good at this, but yes, you were correct. We are donating all of the money that is donated to McGardia is going to the Stollery Children's Hospital, which is run here in Edmonton, where Kerr and I are, and there's at least a couple other McGardia people who are in Canada. Our goal last year was 210, which we were able to meet, and that's again why 420 is our number this year. Karu says it wasn't intentional with the joke. I am trying to look up right now who the newest donation was, but the problem is if it's donated to McGardia and not my specific one, I can't see the donation. So I promised to whoever gave those donations, we will give you a shout out tomorrow morning for Warriors of Sahanine. I will also point out that I know we had another game scheduled for today, but if you were here for Warriors of Sahanine earlier, Garm was already losing his voice. And
Oh yes, the dying noises.
yeah, so we do not want him to push himself any more than he already has for today. So we're going to do still Star Wars at some point, but that'll be in the future. So Call of Cthulhu was the last game for today. We'll be back tomorrow for the second half of Warriors of Sahanine, and hopefully we all don't die. And we will also be having Lancer still tomorrow after that. Our Starfinder game was again canceled because seriously, this weekend, like half of all of McGardia is sick. Like I don't
Or
know
getting
what
sick.
happened. I don't know
Yeah.
what happened, guys, but half of McGardia is sick. So we are also planning to keep donations for Extra Life and the Children's Miracle Network open all week. So
Oh,
when
excellent.
you come to listen to us on Wednesday and Friday, the donations we get will still go towards this because we still want to make this full time. We also might have more plans in the future, but that'll be announced at a further date.
Twitter
Excellent.
is twitter.com/MidgardiaRPG.
Yep.
So if we do, set up the date for the Star Wars game again, it'll be posted there.
Excellent.
Yeah, and
Well, and thanks for providing this space and letting me run this game for you. And for anybody that donated, I really appreciate it because I think it's a very worthy cause, and I love that this event goes on. So perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
and,
great having you.
we also say you're very welcome for leaving you on a very uplifting note for the evening. Because you said you hope we don't die. There are worse things than dying, and we
That's
discovered them.
Yes.
fair enough. But
So
in Call of
where
Cthulhu,
else
what do you
can-
expect?
Where else can people find you, Sam and Jane?
I am on twitter.com/dmsamuel with no spaces. I run the website rpgmusings.com, and I'm one of the editors for the Tome Show. So if you're a D&D fan and you listen to the Tome Show podcast, I do a lot of their Tome Show. I'm the one who edits and posts all of their stuff. So
Damn.
yeah. Jane, where can people find you on the
Yeah.
internet?
So you can find me on Twitter at CellarDoor10, which ironically that name came from a love of Donnie Darko, which I feel like is thematically appropriate here. That's a very like sort of almost eldritchy sort of movie. But so yeah, so Cellar Door 10 on Twitter. My sort of RPG homes are on Tuesdays over at Roll Control on Tuesday nights, and I'll post that link real fast. And then the other one is actually, I have 3 now because we have one starting up soon. So sorry, this is gonna be a little longer than I expected. So for welcome, for over at Welcome to the Party, which is twitch.tv/Welcome Party RPG. I am going to be starting a live stream of Masks, the RPG, which is also teenagers, but they're like superhero themed. And so it's kind of like a kids' Justice League sort of situation. It's thematically themed after the Breakfast Club. So we're all in superhero counseling because we all screwed up at some point. So that starts on it's every Friday at, let's see, you guys do Mountain Time, so 10:30 p.m. Mountain Time on Friday nights, and that starts in a week and a half. It's gonna be 16 weeks. It's part of their like new fall season. Starts on the 6th, Friday the 6th. And
By
then
the way,
also,
By the way, the Breakfast Club is very thematically appropriate because that was Shermer High School in 1985. So
nice.
You said that was twitch.tv/Welcome Party RPG, or is that
Yes.
Twitter? Okay.
Yep, and they're also on Twitter, same thing, and they have a really lovely and active Discord as well. And then also they are the host. They're like on their site, they host a podcast that I do, which is Curse of Strahd, which is also sort of thematically appropriate. That's
Nice.
D&D 5e. So I promise I'm done talking now. Sorry.
It's fine.